go.
Free your mind.
You have a, Davey, just a little Kleenex or something like that, a little paper towel, kind of like spider webs on this microphone here.
Huh.
This is what happens in the radio of 2025. Nighttime, overnight, weekends, nobody in the building.
It's dead
So much
silent.
so that there's literally a spider web. I'm sure you can't see it on the...
No, I can't see it.
Look at that. You can't see it on camera,
Oh.
but it's a...
Well,
it's indicative. It's indicative of radio. For,
trying to build itself a lovely home and catch some bugs.
I guess. Here we go for a Monday morning, and there's a lot to talk about. A big game tonight. Mm-hmm. Davey all bundled up. Is it that cold out? I guess I didn't feel it, although tomorrow, am I correct in saying tomorrow we're going to be looking at...
An inch of snow.
Well, I mean, we may get some. Most of that probably will come in the North Country. I don't know really what we're going to end up seeing down here. However, it certainly is possible, as tomorrow's high is, believe it or not even in the 30s. We might get there, maybe tomorrow. Overnight low 22. Wednesday morning, early, overnight low 25 and 38 degrees the high. Today we'll get a little bit of potential snow as we'll be at our warmest earlier, and then things will cool off as the day goes on. So
Winter's not letting up yet, unfortunately.
Then we look at, once we get through the 40s on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, we'll get up close to 50 on Sunday. And next week looks a little more spring-like with temperatures in the upper 50s to low 60s.
All right, bring it on. But you and Ray were talking last week about the possibility of a Mother's Day snowstorm, the history of that.
History. I don't know that there's anything in any forecast. However, there have been there have been snowstorms as late as Mother's Day. So that when that happens, the snow comes. It usually goes after melts after a couple of days, but I seem to recall maybe 10 inches, close to a foot of snow on a Mother's Day some years ago. So it can happen. Got a bunch to get to. I don't know if you're following any of the stock market, your 401k.
Yeah, goodbye retirement.
Holy moly! Richard
Painful.
this morning has been going at it since. Early this morning, I've been going back and forth with him. He starts, Bill, this guy Trump is a ticking time bomb. I will tell you, Richard is no fan. It's going to explode. His tariff plan, if it ever works, and it won't, he says, will take many years to possibly work. Yes, the wealthy can wait, but the middle class and poor have no chance to survive. I realize he's painting a very dismal picture, but I'll explain in a second here. The world hates us now, and Trump does not care. The stock market is going to get crushed again today, and he's playing golf all weekend. His plan is to become a world dictator and to ruin the USA. Why is this being allowed? And then responds by saying it's 100% a disaster. I'm afraid to see this outcome. It will not be pretty, says Richard this morning.
Are you sure that wasn't Liberal Lou writing for Richard?
That is...
we haven't heard from Liberal Lou in a while.
That is, normally he'll go by the wayside, but let's just stay focused. That is a dismal look at. However, if you're looking at the stock market and you're looking at overseas markets, they are tumbling again today, and most likely futures right now showing that we will be headed for another very difficult day in the stock market.
Yeah.
In the last week, losing nearly over $6 trillion in value in the stock market.
It's not a good look.
But over the weekend on the Sunday shows, and we'll talk with Ryan Schmemells about this coming up, over the weekend, the defense of this, that the world needs a correction, and the world order, the way that we do what we do, needs a correction, and that this, according to the Trump administration, will There will be some pain, although people are feeling a lot of it right now.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And it certainly doesn't look overly optimistic. They believe that we will recover from this and be in a much better place. We'll see, but today will be another rough day. Mighty John, the vinyl record guy, is on later on this morning. We'll speak with him. And there's also a new scam to keep an eye out for.
Boy.
So coming up at the end of the month, there is an RV show that is going to be held, and it really kicks off the outdoor show season at the Herkimer County Fairgrounds. And you'll look at RVs and boats and anything outdoors. Any outdoor, could be tractors, it could be lawn mowing, it could be campers and RVs and boats and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
All packed into one show. So over the weekend, they announced that they are still open for vendors. And it looks like someone has stepped in and is trying to get vendors to sign up. And they have no affiliation with the event at all.
Oh.
So they want to put the alert out. Number one, that they are looking for vendors, not food trucks. Number two, if you're not dealing directly with them, you are likely getting scammed.
And how much money are these people charging money for the scam?
I
or
don't
is
know.
it trying
We'll
to
find out. We'll find out. They're going to be they'll be in studio, and we'll find out what the deal is. Davey, what you have a bracket that is, at the very least, it's not perfect, but it is one of the closest to perfect that is out there. You have who in the final game tonight?
I predicted Duke and Houston, and I predicted Florida and Auburn. I have Houston and Florida in the championship, and I have the Gators from Florida winning it all.
Wow.
All right.
You want to do the big reveal? How much money will this mean for you? Because I know you've been doing some betting with Scott, and you've been making some money. Although this weekend NASCAR kind of went up in smoke.
Yeah.
However, how much money, if Florida wins tonight, how much money could you win?
$250.
Is it really, though? Are you being honest?
No, yes, I'm being honest.
You just told me a second ago you didn't take it. You didn't do it.
I did a bet on Florida.
Oh, you did a bet on Florida.
But I didn't.
But your bracket.
My bracket, I didn't get in the contest.
He didn't do a bracket.
I did a bracket myself.
He did not do an official bracket. It's where I'm going.
Yes.
So here you are.
I should have got in on the contest here at the radio station.
You should have.
You could have. Should have.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Yeah. Okay, that is big. And what time is that game tonight?
8:50.
Oh boy.
It's going to be close to 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
All right.
But
a lot of coffee.
A big game it will be, and we'll talk more about that, possibly with Scott a little later on in the 8 o'clock hour, if that's possible. Ben Simons is on regarding the state budget. They're back in battle again on the state budget, and it really doesn't look like there's any end in sight. Did you watch the governor in Buffalo?
You mean putting the final thing
they
on
call it the topper
on
ceremony.
the new stadium? I sure did.
Which is that thing is way over budget.
But it looks magnificent.
Going to be beautiful.
Yeah.
So what is the topper? The topper ceremony, and I watched this on TV. They put the last piece of steel with a crane, and it's a big ceremony, and the commissioner of the NFL was there. Obviously, the Pagulas and the governor was there saying, I'm going to enjoy this, and then I got to fly back to Albany for meetings well into the morning on the budget. But that's going to be it's not this season. It'll be next season that it will open. It's going to be it's going to be a beautiful stadium. And if you see, they've designed this supposedly in a way where the fans will somewhat be protected, even though it is not a dome. There is every part of the stands are covered. I don't know what that will mean when it comes to the wind, but the field is actually sunk in. The field is down. You go in and then you go down to the field.
Now just win a Super Bowl and put a Super Bowl banner in that new stadium. Damn it!
Well, that would be something incredible, right? That would be incredible. And we'll talk with business owners still optimistic on the economy. Janice Spooner is a market president with Great Plains Bank. What is her take going to be on everything that's going on, including these tariffs? And one of the problems with the stock market, and a lot of people, I heard this over the weekend, and a lot of people say, well, you know, the middle class and the lower end of the economy, they don't have the money to invest, so this really doesn't affect them. Actually, it does significantly, because job growth, people, companies, businesses, they all dabble in the stock market. So if they're getting crushed, it will have a trickle down effect, and then the tariffs, of course, will end up raising prices. I just don't know where we go. I don't know how long this goes. It does not seem that the president has any plans in backing down. And over the weekend, we learned even if countries come forward to negotiate, it is going to take quite some time in order to negotiate out of this.
Yeah.
So I don't. We'll see where all of it goes, and as we said, we'll talk to Ryan Schmemells coming up
and
in a few minutes.
We had a news report that says that we will start seeing prices rise for items at the grocery store: fruits, nuts, sugar, meat, and dairy products.
And that's going to be very interesting to speak with Ben and how farmers are going to be affected by this. He'll be in the 8 o'clock hour. And then Davey will do Habaika's free money question this morning. It is an opportunity to win how much money to start off the week?
1 cent.
Okay. You're really that bothered over the bracket, aren't you?
No, I'm just very tired because I stayed up late last night to watch a wrestling pay-per-view, and it didn't get over until 12:30.
Oh, boy.
That's rough.
Well, don't take it out on everybody.
No.
How much should we think we're going to do today?
$100.
$100. So a C-note this morning. Start off a Monday with a C-note, a chance for you to win $100, and we'll get to that coming up at 7:35. So jam-packed, up and running for a Monday morning. Stand by. We'll come back with an update on news here at WIBX.
Good morning. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM news time is 6:29. I'm Megan Stone with your news update. It's cloudy outside and 33 degrees. Your full weather forecast will be coming up next. The NYPD is investigating a police-involved shooting in Brooklyn triggered by a 49-year-old man who reportedly slashed 4 children with a meat cleaver. Police say the man, believed to be an uncle, went on a bloody rampage at about 10 Sunday morning inside the Bensonhurst home on 84th Street, where he lived with the children. Their mother wasn't home at the time. Cops say he used a meat cleaver to slash and stab the children, ranging in age from 8 years old to 16, but an injured 11-year-old girl managed to call 911. When police arrived, they found the man in a closet with the cleaver and a knife. The NYPD says when he refused to drop his weapons, cops shot him. He's in critical condition, but the children are expected to survive. Meta's fact-checking program is coming to an official end. The Facebook and Instagram parent company is closing the program today. That's according to Joel Kaplan, Meta's chief global affairs officer. He wrote on X that in place of fact checks, community notes will begin appearing across social media platforms. This after Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg announced sweeping changes to the company's content moderation policies in January, just before he attended President Trump's inauguration. President Trump is signing an executive order to keep TikTok running in the U.S. for an additional 75 days. Chinese-based ByteDance was originally granted an extension from its original January 19th deadline to divest or face a permanent U.S. ban. In a post on Truth Social, Trump said a ton of progress has been made, but a deal to sell the social media platform to a U.S. buyer still needs work. The president said they hope to continue working with China related to the deal. He added his administration doesn't want TikTok to go dark. Trump also noted that China isn't happy with tariffs announced this week and said this development proves tariffs are a powerful economic tool. And a bill to create a statewide reparations commission has been sent to the Maryland governor, Wes Moore. Both the State House and Senate passed the measure to establish the Maryland Reparations Commission, which would be tasked with studying and making recommendations relating to appropriate benefits for individuals whose ancestors were enslaved or impacted by the inequitable government policies. If the governor, a Democrat, signs the bill, the commission would be required to submit a preliminary report by January 1st of 2027, with the final report due in November of that year. The Legislative Black Caucus of Maryland says the measure would be a critical step toward justice and repair in the state. Your WIBX news time is 6:32. Here is your full weather forecast.
Cold's back, so is accumulating snowfall. Lewis County and points north into the Tug Hill Plateau winter weather advisories for tonight. They see a little rain and snow this morning, but no accumulation. 45 and cloudy this afternoon. Rain and snow showers becoming all snow tonight, down to the mid-20s. So could be a little bit slick Tuesday morning with some scattered snow showers. Windy and cold tomorrow with a high only in the low 30s. Snow showers into tomorrow night. Chance of snow showers early Wednesday. Now in the advisory area, there could be several inches of snow. I'm meteorologist Ray Stachik from the Weather Channel, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Currently, it's 33 degrees under cloudy skies. I'm Megan Stone.
It is National Beer Day today.
Oh.
National Beer Day. So you can find, I'm sure, a way, especially with the national championship game coming up tonight, find a way to enjoy that, I'm sure.
Salute.
And there was a story we had last week about a guy who tried to use an AI robot to represent him in court as his attorney.
Oh.
And the result was not a favorable reaction from the judge.
But it must have been hilarious to us.
Turns out we have some audio on that. We'll play that coming up in a second. The official coffee of the Keeler in the Morning radio program is Daylight Donuts in New Hartford. The coffee is amazing, Seattle's best. You can try their iced coffee and their amazing cold brew coffee. Although the next couple of days, you might want it nice and warm. Everything is made fresh every morning, including the donuts and the croissants. And now introducing their new breakfast sandwich. This, if you're feeling hunger this morning, this will hit the spot. It is so good. It's the egg white frittata, made with egg white, spinach, tomato, and feta cheese. You can have it on a bagel, English muffin, or I had it on a croissant, and they are made fresh every day, and they're buttery and will melt in your mouth. It's Daylight Donuts in the village of New Hartford.
Easter reminds us that new beginnings are possible. You can help the Rome Rescue Mission provide the chance for a new beginning for a family in our area. It is the Rome Rescue Mission's goal to help families in need to celebrate this Easter season. You can help a family of 5 this Easter with your generous support of $25. For $25, the Rome Rescue Mission will provide a family of 5 with a hot meal and give them a memorable Easter celebration. A feeling of safety, a feeling of knowing that someone cares. From there, a person can rebuild a life. Through resurrection power comes freedom from the past and an unlimited future. Everyone deserves a chance at a new beginning. Won't you help make that happen for families in our area this season? Rome Rescue Mission, giving hope and loving the lost. Please donate now at romemission.org. That's romemission.org. Rome Rescue Mission, a hand up, not a handout.
28 years ago, Lori Potasowicz had a dream. With a natural love for pets, she wanted to become an expert groomer. So she set out to become the area's only nationally certified master groomer and launched her business, one paw at a time. With grooming expertise and a lot of loving care, Lori and her talented team began caring for pets one paw at a time. Cuts, shampoos, and styling, one paw at a time. Teeth and nails with no detail overlooked from head to toe, one paw at a time. Getting to know each and every dog and cat by name, the One Paw at a Time family grew, and Lori had a decision to make. Keep expanding? She followed her heart and decided to keep the One Paw family atmosphere just the way it is, so she can keep taking care of the pets she knows and loves, one paw at a time. Lori and her team want to thank the families they serve for putting their trust in them to care for their four-legged family members, one paw at a time. 320 Oriskany Boulevard in Whitesboro near Woods Road. One Paw appreciates your understanding for their current waiting list for new customers.
This April, step into a world of luxury, elegance, and dazzling beauty.
Be dazzled.
Join us and be dazzled. An unforgettable evening of glistening jewels, sparkling cocktails, and spectacular entertainment. April 12th at Verdon Downs Casino Hotel. Immerse yourself in a breathtaking atmosphere.
Be dazzled.
Inspired by Diamonds and Ice, experience a night like no other. Enjoy world-class cuisine, live performances, and a chance to dance the night away where the magic sparkles like diamonds and the night glistens with icy elegance. This is the Gala of the Year. Tickets are limited, so get yours now.
Be dazzled.
Where every moment sparkles like diamonds and ice. April 12th at Vernon Downs Casino Hotel. Visit neighborhoodctr.org for tickets. Brought to you by the Flemmer Group at Baird, Murphy Excavating, and C&D Advertising.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
So over the weekend on Saturday, a big nationwide protest. Hundreds from the area participated in Oneida Square in the Hands Off rally, which really, did you see any of this, Davey? Yes, I drove by. There were a lot of people.
What section did you go by? Did you see the one on Commercial Drive across from like where Kmart used to be, across from there?
I saw that.
Yeah, that's where I saw them.
Yeah. And then I think they were in Oneida Square as well.
Yeah, they're always in Oneida Square doing a protest.
Yeah.
But I was kind of shocked when I saw them on Saturday afternoon.
At the number of people.
On Commercial Drive, where like the home places where Kmart used to be.
Yes,
and they were all over across the street too, at the other little plaza there. I was shocked to see the people there.
And it was, I do have to say, it was I thought it was interesting to see there were a lot of older people. A lot
of people protesting about education.
Education and Social Security were issues that people were out. What does it? These were going on around the country. Our larger ones were in D.C. and New York.
There was 3 local. It was one in New Hartford, one in Herkimer, and one at Hamilton College.
Yeah. And it will be interesting today to see where the stock market goes. And coming up in a few minutes, as I said, we'll speak with Ryan Schmemells from Fox News Radio. Both Florida and Houston had exciting come-from-behind wins on Saturday. Here are the final calls on those games. And, of course, it is setting up the big matchup tonight at 8:50 p.m. on CBS for the national championship.
And it's over! A return to national prominence for the Gators. Florida will play for the national title. And what Todd Golden and the Gators will be looking for now is a championship. It's no good! The dream remains alive for the Houston Cougars. A furious comeback to knock off Duke and advance to the national championship game.
Well, there you go. That's tonight. And Davey called it. Then in hockey, that was quite a moment to witness what we witnessed in hockey yesterday.
Oh, Ovechkin? It was unbelievable. I know we got to get the phone real quick, so I was just flipping through the channels, and then I saw it on TNT. He breaks the record, so I ended up watching it.
Take your that's Ryan. That's Ryan Schmemells. Yeah, take that. And Ovechkin with now 1,486 goals.
Crazy.
That is really quite incredible when you think about it. Ryan Schmemells is with Fox News Radio on the line right now. Ryan, good morning. Good Monday morning.
Hey, good morning.
I don't know about you, but it just doesn't feel it. We're right back into cold weather here. We're looking at snow the next couple of days. I hate it. Okay, well, let's talk about the big, beautiful spending bill. Where does that stand? And futures and markets around the world today looking like another volatile sell-off today.
Yeah, well, we'll see what those numbers look like later on. But yes, the one big, beautiful bill, it is it passed the Senate. It had 2 Republican no votes over the weekend after a vote-a-rama that saw amendments and debate go on all night long, all the way until about 3 or 4 in the morning. And now it heads to the House, where we don't know what's going to happen here. There was a conference call last night with the House GOP. There certainly are some conservative Republicans who don't like the fact that the spending floor was kind of cut from under this. So therefore, there's more opportunity for deficit increases, and they're not big fans of that.
Yeah. This is obviously this is all this. There's nothing Democrats really can do unless they chose to hop on board and pass it. And I don't see that certainly happening. But there is enough dissension there where, with everything that's going on right now, I mean, it does seem like the table has been turned over, upended. So if there was ever a time to stand up for more cuts, I guess this would be that time for some conservative Republicans.
I mean, certainly would be. I mean, this is all you really have to do if you're a Democrat right now is sit back and just wait for one or two Republicans to vote no, and that's enough to sink the bill. So they do get a little bit of a cushion here because they added 2 more members. There was the members from Matt Gaetz and Michael Waltz's district that got sworn in last week. But, you know, when you have the Freedom Caucus chairman putting out a statement very critical of the legislation Saturday morning, that's not a good sign at all.
Yeah. And what are you hearing from, obviously, from Republicans? The big story has been the tariffs and the reaction of the markets. You're beginning to get Republicans who are coming out very loudly, vehemently, people like Rand Paul, who are very much against the tariffs and what this is doing to the markets.
Well, Rand Paul was against these tariffs from day
the beginning.
one.
He was against
tariffs
always
during
been.
the last administration.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's not shocking to hear him go down that rabbit hole. But I think when you start to see maybe some more loyal members to President Trump start to raise concern, that's going to be quite a sign. Now, you know, a recession's not a good thing. It's a really bad look. And that's going to be a hard pill for Republicans to swallow if we go into another recession. So, will the dissension start to pick up? I don't know. It hadn't done so just yet. But you are starting to see some members introducing legislation. I think you saw Don Bacon in the House. You saw Chuck Grassley in the Senate introduce these bills that would essentially require congressional approval in order to make these tariffs become law.
Yeah.
So that's something to keep in mind for the future.
And it is interesting. I was watching over the weekend with some Republican criticism, and obviously the administration is certainly defending this. But when there are people who voted for President Trump because they hated where the economy was, they hated the high prices, and the administration and President Trump campaigned on day one. We're going to see. I remember hearing people say things like, "I can see the egg prices falling already." The problem here is over the weekend they were saying, "Yeah, it is going to take time. This is the solution. The tariff issue is the solution, and it's going to take some time to fix things." But I do think you have those people who didn't expect this outcome based on their vote for Donald Trump. And those are the people to keep an eye on, I would think.
Oh, certainly. Yes, those are the outliers. Because I think that, Republicans want to make the argument this was a mandate handed down by the American people, but there might be some who argue that they voted for Donald Trump because they thought he was the lesser of two evils.
Right.
So, if you lead us into a recession, are these voters going to forgive you for that? And, I think there's a lot of other things that play here, too. I think the question I have is, well, you achieved a really strong economy your first administration by, deregulation. You had a couple tariffs here and there, but they were more targeted on specific countries. And then you also had a trade deal that was renegotiated. So if all those things are so great, why does there need to be further action? Why can't just go back to doing what made this possible in the first place?
Yeah.
So I think those are kind of the questions that we have.
Yeah, Ryan, you bring up a great point about how Trump achieved a stronger economy in his first term, but also he came into office for his second term saying that he inherited a big mess. At what point, let's say if some economic reports that claim that we are going to see a recession sometime in the summer, at what point does Trump take responsibility or blame or stop blaming it on the previous administration?
Well, I've been in this town long enough to know that taking responsibility is not something a lot of people will really do, whether it's Republican or Democrat.
Yeah,
There's always
it's not
a spin machine that's going to be out there So I think that President Trump's going to maybe – I mean, we have to see how they actually go about it. But I think Donald Trump has been asked that question, or at least Caroline Leavitt has been asked that question before, and she kind of diverts to answering the question kind of the same way you phrased it, which is that this was a big mess that President Trump inherited, and he's trying to reshape the way that we do trade and reshape the way we make things in America.
All right.
And it is definitely a policy. I realize you can certainly point to the Biden administration. And by the way, interesting editorials over the weekend regarding what the people in the administration knew about the mental health of Joe Biden.
Yeah.
That is a story
Yes.
in its own right. But the reality is we're changing 60 years of policy here. This is a major disruption, and that's why I think we're seeing such reaction around the world. Only time will tell. It's the one thing that is for sure. We will know the outcome of this. When, I don't know, but we will know the outcome. Ryan, as always, we appreciate your time. Thank you, and have a great day.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Ryan
Thank
Schmemells with Fox News Radio. Did I say I'm hearing from people that I gave the wrong number of goals on Davey?
Is 895.
Yeah. When I was reading off, it is. I read off games played. The number of goals scored, 895 versus 894. The other part of this that I think is very interesting is that Ovechkin is played at one place for his entire career. That's a pretty impressive feat to do, especially this day and age. Quick break. We'll come right back here. Ross Bartell, thank you. It's 6:48 at WIBX.
Every once in a while, something that sounds too good to be true is actually, in fact, true. How would you like up to $4,000 of free windows? And when I say $4,000 of free windows, I mean $4,000 of free windows. No gimmicks or games. You don't have to buy $4,000 to get $4,000 free. You just get up to $4,000 of free windows through Patriot Home Solutions and NYSERDA. Of course, some restrictions apply, but none of these restrictions are income-based, and you don't have to sit through a long, drawn-out sales presentation. Give Patriot a call at 315-401-0440, and they can quickly tell you over the phone if you qualify or how you can get qualified. That's 315-401-0440. These aren't any windows. They're high-quality, custom-fitted windows designed to save energy and keep the cold air out all winter. Your window solution is Patriot Home Solutions. Online at patriothomesolutions.com.
BME Company Business Machines and Equipment has been delivering office solutions for businesses in upstate New York for over 30 years. Their success comes from finding the right document management strategies and software solutions for streamlining workflows. Simply put, BME provides fast, reliable service at the best value to keep your business running smoothly. Through BME's strategic partnership with Hummel's Office Plus, they distribute supplies for just about every machine in your office at a great price. BME welcomes the opportunity to serve your business, selling, leasing, and service in Canon and Kyocera devices, as well as FP mailing solutions. An important part of BME's culture is supporting the communities they're fortunate to work in, and BME recognizes that support is one reason for their success. The future of business in BME's area is encouraging, and the company is grateful to be a part of that growth. Call BME Company at 315-574-8200 or visit bmecompany.com. BME Company Office Solutions. Made simple.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
Listen, if you're feeling pain, neck pain, back pain, knee, wrist pain, arthritis, shoulder pain, and the list goes on, there is help out there. And it's a program called SoftWave, Revive Softwave Therapy, with Dr. Timothy Del Medico, a program that I'm in the middle of, or getting started with. It's an FDA-cleared, non-invasive, drug-free treatment for chronic pain, inflammation, and all joint issues. There's a $99 new patient special, introductory discovery, where you can try it out. But I think my plan is like 8 sessions. Includes a consultation with one of their doctors, the SoftWave therapy treatment for $99, and a treatment recovery plan and assessment. This increases blood supply. It modulates inflammation, stimulates and activates stem cells naturally in your body. Call them today, 315-725-8427. It is endorsed and trusted by pro athletes and medical experts like the Mayo Clinic. In sports, the Nets, the Giants, the Cubs, the Steelers, and the list goes on. It's Revive Softwave Therapy with Timothy Del Medico, 315-725-8427. Okay, couple of other things to get to here this morning. Cully is in. We'll speak with him. Of course, being the UConn, you know that she's from Connecticut. So, right? See the connection here.
I'm a nutmegger.
She's from Connecticut, and you played for UConn.
Where you
were celebrating. You guys can have that conversation off the air. You were celebrating UConn's victory. The ladies this weekend.
Huge victory. Big
victory.
Yes. And it's funny because it all started, my good friend Kelly Verkler, she's a huge UConn fan, and she wanted to go see a game. So we went to see USC, which was one of their biggest non-conference games. USC has probably she won the Naismith Player of the Year, Juju Watkins. She dominated, and UConn lost. So we were nervous about how UConn was going to do the rest of the way, but they turned it on. The end of the season, the Big East tournament, and the NCAA tournament, and they just steamrolled everyone.
They were hungry. They wanted that victory.
Yeah, well, Paige Buckers with her 6th year, she's had 2 terrible knee injuries, and she came back from that. Azzi Fudd, the second best player, she had also a very, very bad knee injury that she hadn't played in a year. She came back from. She shot lights out.
Just a huge domination.
Yeah.
Both games were.
Yeah, and it is interesting too to watch how many people tune in and watch women's college basketball today. It's really a big deal. So, all right, we'll get into a little more of it. Man, we mentioned there's a judge who went off on a guy who showed up in court with a lawyer who was a robot. Now, I've seen lawyers who are robotic. In this case, it was really AI. A man in the state of New York, right here, Jerome DeWald, tried to have an AI lawyer defend him in court, and the judge was not having it. Jerome said the avatar he generated would do a better job delivering his argument rather than him stumbling over his own words. I find this kind of interesting. And maybe this isn't as bad as initially thought. Here's what we know about this. Here we go.
The appellant has submitted a video. We will hear that video now.
May it please the court. I come here today a humble pro se before a panel of 5 distinguished justices.
Is this, hold on, is that counsel for the case?
I generated that. That is not a real person.
You did not tell me that, sir, and you have appeared before this court and been able to testify verbally. You are not going to use this courtroom as a launch for your business. So if you are able to shut that off,
I apologize.
You have 5 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, the judge
she was mad.
Was not having it. And however, I do kind of wonder, is this such a bad thing? I mean, he created it. He built the argument that the AI, the robot, if you will, came from him, but he just kind of felt that it would be better articulated if it was coming from the AI robot. So
I can see that she wouldn't like that.
Take it for what it is, but the judge was having none of it. A Nevada man arrested after illegally owning 7 tigers and keeping them on his property. He said they were emotional support tigers. Awesome. Here's the man with the tigers, Carl Mitchell, and a member of the local sheriff's department talking about the entire dangerous situation.
Their machine guns and their Bearcat and Ram Lake 8. None of that was necessary.
We have received information that he has been seen walking the tigers loose around the property, the property in the desert. There have been social media posts from him with people interacting with the cats, which is also in violation.
My tigers are my emotional support animals. I rescued those tigers from Joe Exotic, the Tiger King.
I knew there was going to be a Tiger King connection there.
There is the opportunity maybe for another documentary. Who knows? We will.
That's probably what he was hoping to do. Tiger King, the sequel.
We'll see.
Bill, do you need an emotional support, Tiger?
No. A Canadian man is fighting a ridiculous parking ticket, or at least a parking ticket that he claims is ridiculous. The city added a bus stop in front of his house overnight without warning him. He was parked there. And then the next morning, he was ticketed 10 minutes after it was installed. Here is the man explaining what happened and why this is, and it does sound like it's ridiculous. Here he is.
There was no sign the night before. Now I got to waste my time to go test the ticket. And if they refuse my contest, I actually got to go to court to actually fight a ticket, which is completely wrong. Not one bus has passed by. And I think they should notify it and put up a sign before the official sign saying there will be a new sign.
That's an interesting argument.
It does seem like that is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, you don't know what you don't know.
A couple of news anchors out of Philadelphia had way too much fun reporting out a water main break recently. They were standing next to a big screen that had a live shot from overhead. One pretended to drink the fountain of water. The other stood so it looked like the water was gushing out of the fly of his pants, and somehow this made it on live TV.
Remember back in the day when you'd have to drink out of the hose?
Yeah. And a woman named L.A. says that she has an extremely problematic name. She says the name was given to her because her mother wanted to connect two surnames together. But she says it is a problem. It's been a problem for her entire life. Here she is talking about some of the problems she has encountered.
My name is LA, capital L dot capital A dot. Now, some of the systems don't accept it, so they have to just put LA, or some of them accept one dot but not two. Some of them don't accept two letters. They have to add an extra letter, all kinds of madness. My name is the most problematic name, I think, in this world. Like, to the point where my driving license came back with a picture of a Chinese man on it. Yeah, with my name, his signature, and my address. That type of problem, because the systems just can't understand.
Wow. Okay. I believe that she may have more of a problem than just her name, but I could be absolutely wrong.
Oh, my gosh.
All right, coming up next hour, a bunch to get to, including Mighty John, the record guy. If you have any vinyl, we could very well be in a situation where John is able to tell you what it's worth. All you have to do is call up and tell us what the record is, and he'll give you an assessment, a value of that record right on the spot, right on the fly. That, along with Hobaika's free money question of the day, got a great question coming up for $100 at 7:35 this morning. News is next.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome, W295EI, WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, a Town Square media station.
Another big sell-off looms in the stock market. I'm Dave Anthony. Fox News. Dow futures down almost 800 points after the Dow lost almost 4,000 last Thursday and Friday. And the worry about President Trump's new tariffs on almost all imports is worldwide. Markets are plunging overseas, almost 8% overnight in Japan, 13% in Hong Kong.
Trump expressing uncertainty about today's market performance, but maintained that the tariffs will help the United States.
Fox's Brooks Singman.
The administration is open to tariff negotiations with worldwide leaders, and the president says he's already spoken with some who are urging him to lower some of those tariffs.
I spoke to a lot of leaders, European, Asian, from all over the world. They're dying to make a deal. But I said, we're not going to have deficits with your country.
Now, a few minutes ago, the president posted on Truth Social, there is no inflation. Oil and food prices are down, and so are interest rates. Now, Democrats say that what's happening with the Trump policy is reckless, and they predict the tariffs will cause inflation. Senator Chris Coons tells Fox News Sunday
they're going to pay more for fruits and vegetables, gas, cars, furniture, clothing. It's going to make America less affordable, not more affordable.
Now back to President Trump. He talked to reporters on Air Force One flying back to Washington last night. He'll meet today at the White House with Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
There's a lot of things going on with the Middle East right now that have to be silenced.
As Israel and Hamas keep waging war.
About 10 projectiles flew from Gaza towards Israel, the largest Hamas rocket barrage since fighting resumed last month. Roughly half were intercepted, with some damage to buildings. One man was lightly hurt. In response, the Israeli military took out the rocket launchers, first ordering Palestinians to evacuate several neighborhoods in central Gaza.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. More than 30 Palestinians were killed in a flooding disaster in parts of the south from storms blamed for now at least 19 deaths. America's listening to Fox News.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Now, President Trump in that Truth Social post said oil prices are down. Here are the numbers, falling almost 3% back to $60 a barrel. Cryptocurrency prices also dropping, including Bitcoin this morning, as stock futures also fall. In Congress,
the House may consider this week a number of bills key to President Trump's agenda. One is called the SAVE Act, which would require proof of citizenship to register to vote in federal elections. Republicans believe it will protect elections from voter fraud, while Democrats call it a voter suppression bill. Republicans also are hoping to rein in what they call activist judges with the No Rogue Rulings Act. That would limit district court judges' powers to issue nationwide injunctions, which has led to a number of administration policies being struck down. On Capitol Hill, Ryan Schmemells, Fox News.
They partied at UConn last night, celebrating another national championship in women's college basketball, Connecticut's 12th.
UConn blew out defending national champion South Carolina 82-59 in the championship game, ending a 9-year title drought for the Huskies. Head coach Gino Auriemma is now a 12-time champion. UConn won their 6 tournament games by an average of 33 points.
That's Fox's Tim McMaster. Tonight, it's the men's NCAA national title game, Florida versus Houston. On the ice, a record.
Cross ice, Ovechkin fires. Score! The chasing days are done. Alex Ovechkin is the greatest goal scorer in the history of the NHL.
The call on Monumental Sports. Ovechkin passed Wayne Gretzky as the all-time NHL goals leader, scoring his 895th, though his Washington Capitals lost the game to the New York Islanders 4-1. On the NASCAR track,
Denny Hamlin comes off turn number 4 and doubles up. Hamlin wins the Goodyear 400.
Hamlin won the race in Darlington in overtime in FS1, edging out William Byron, who still leads the NASCAR Cup standings. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
Good morning. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM news time is 7:05. I'm Megan Stone with your news update. It is 33 degrees and cloudy outside. Your full weather forecast is coming up next. Your news is brought to you by Clinton Tractor, the leader in service. Visit clintontractor.net. A Lee Center man faces additional charges after assaulting an Oneida County correctional officer. The Oneida County Sheriff's Office said they were called to the Whitestown facility on April 1st and learned 24-year-old Ethan Adsit kicked open his cell door and struck a corrections officer that was attempting to serve him breakfast. Adsit then allegedly struck the officer numerous times on the head. The officer suffered a closed head injury and was taken to Oneida Hospital. Adsit was charged with second-degree assault, which is a Class D felony. He remains held at Oneida County Correctional for arraignment. Oneida County Sheriff's deputies stopped a burglary in progress. Authorities say officials were called to Horatio Street business in Deerfield after its alarm was triggered. They met an employee who directed them where the suspect had fled. The suspect, identified as 59-year-old Darren Gatson of Rochester, was arrested at a nearby parking lot. He was charged with burglary in the third degree, which is a Class D felony. He was also found to be out on parole as he was awaiting arraignment at Cap Court. Yet another showdown appears to be brewing between New York State and the Trump administration. This time, it's over a self-certification of diversity, equity, and inclusion in schools. On Thursday, the Trump Education Department sent a letter to state education commissioners demanding compliance with its own legal analysis and stating that some DEI practices can be illegal. Friday, New York State Education Commissioner Betty Rosa said she won't sign what the administration wants, saying her department is in compliance with Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. New York Attorney General Letitia James has advised state school districts and colleges to continue with their commitments to diversity. And today, police across the Empire State will be taking part in their annual crackdown on distracted driving. This latest initiative runs through April 14th, and the Governor's Traffic Safety Committee will help educate folks about the dangers of distracted driving through the use of social media, radio, television, and highway signs. Data shows distracted driving is the most common contributing factor to accidents in New York. During last year's campaign, over 67,000 tickets were handed out, including another 6,700 for distracted driving. Your WIBX news time is 7:07. Here is your weather forecast.
Cold's back, so is accumulating snowfall. Lewis County and points north into the Tug Hill Plateau. Winter weather advisories for tonight. They see a little rain and snow this morning, but no accumulation. 45 and cloudy this afternoon. Rain and snow showers becoming all snow tonight, down to the mid-20s. So could be a little bit slick Tuesday morning with some scattered snow showers. Windy and cold tomorrow with a high only in the low 30s. Snow showers into tomorrow night. Chance of snow showers early Wednesday. Now in the advisory area, there could be several inches of snow. I'm meteorologist Ray Stachik from the Weather Channel, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
It's 33 degrees under cloudy skies. Let's take a look at sports. Brought to you by IBEW 43 Local Sports Desk. All right, a new men's college basketball champion will be crowned tonight. Florida is set to take on Houston in the national championship game in San Antonio. The Gators are making their first appearance in the championship game since winning back-to-back titles in 2006 and 2007. They knocked off SEC rival Auburn 79-73 in the Final Four on Saturday. Houston is making its first appearance in the title game since 1984. The Cougars have never won the national championship in men's hoop. They enter afresh off a 70-67 takedown of Duke in the Final Four. The UConn women are back on top of the college basketball world. The Huskies blew out South Carolina 82-59 in the national championship from Tampa. Sarah Strong and Azzy Fudge scored 24 points as UConn claimed its NCAA record 12th title in school history. Joyce Edwards and Tessa Johnson netted 10 points from the Gamecocks, who failed to repeat after winning last year's championship. The Yankees were unable to finish their sweep after falling to the Pittsburgh Pirates 5-4 in 11 innings. Trent Grisham tied the game after hitting a 2-run single in the top of the ninth. New York is leading the AL East and will visit the Detroit Tigers for a 3-game series that begins this afternoon. The Mets swept their series with Toronto Blue Jays after earning a 2-1 victory in the finale from Queens. Pete Alonso led the way at the plate after going 2 for 3 with an RBI single. Edwin Diaz secured his second save of the season. New York is 1 game back of the NL East lead and will host the Marlins tonight. Alex Ovechkin is now the all-time leading goal scorer in NHL history. The Washington Capitals star scored his 895th goal on Sunday against the Islanders in New York to surpass Wayne Gretzky. It comes on a power play in the second period. After he scored what was his 42nd goal of the season, the game was stopped for an emotional ceremony on the ice. Brian Harman is celebrating his 4th career tour victory after winning the Valero Texas Open. Despite shooting a 3/75 in the final round, Harman finished atop the leaderboard at TPC San Antonio at 9 under par. Ryan Gerard finished in second at 6 under. Maverick McNeely and Andrew Novak finished tied for third at 5 under par. And defending champ Ashke Bhatia failed to make the cut. And Denny Hamlin is in the winner's circle again. The driver of the number 11 car held off William Byron by just over half a second to claim the checkered flag in the Goodyear 400 from Darlington Raceway. It's his second straight NASCAR Cup Series win. Christopher Bell finished third as the field prepares for the Food City 500 at Bristol Motor Speedway next Sunday. And of course, yes, the NCAA Men's Basketball National Championship is tonight. And Davey, you're feeling good, aren't you?
Yes, I am. I want Florida.
We want Florida to win, and we want Davey to win his money, right?
Yeah.
All right. Drinks on Davey. Drinks on Davey. Good point. All right. It is 7:11 and 33 degrees under cloudy skies. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM. I'm Megan.
Whitesboro Central School District is looking for bus drivers to join their team now. Whitesboro is a leading school system in central New York with 7 schools, 3,100 students, and a 92% graduation rate. You can help drive our students' success. When you drive for Whitesboro, you get pay that's based on your experience, great benefits, a flexible schedule, and summers off. Call Andy at 315-768-9740 or stop by the garage, 20 Wood Road, Whitesboro.
Now at Kubota Orange Days, your local Kubota dealer at White's Farm Supply is delivering the savings you need for the life you love. Join us on Saturday, April 26th at our Waterville location for the exclusive deals on America's favorite compact tractors. We'll help you find the perfect match with special Orange Days financing and savings. Don't miss this chance to save on the Kubota you've always wanted. Only at White's Farm Supply in Waterville on Saturday, April 26th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m.
White's Farm Supply.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down, get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Before there was social media, streaming, and even color television, there was radio. Remember the golden days when you had to tune in to hear what happened to Hopalong Cassidy, or perhaps the Green Hornet? What if you could relive those days again? Hi, I'm Greg Bell, the host of When Radio Was, a show that's dedicated to the very best of radio's golden age. From classic performances by Jack Benny to tales of terror on Lights Out. It's all here on When Radio Was, starting every Sunday at 11 p.m., only on WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Which classic broadcast will you hear next?
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
All right, coming up, we'll speak with Mighty John, the record guy. And Megan, you actually brought in a record.
I brought in several records,
okay,
and I'm looking forward to seeing if I could sell them for money.
How many did you bring in? How many do you have?
I have a whole bunch of them actually.
Are they
picked,
all 78 RPMs?
They're all types, big, small, the big thick ones.
Okay.
So.
All right. Okay. We'll see what
I did a great job.
We'll see what
describing them.
What Mighty John. Yeah, I have no clue what you have, but John will know. Mighty John, the record guy. It's moneymusic.com is the website. John, good morning.
Good morning, Bill.
So let's, Friday was, and actually we were going to have you Friday, but we couldn't get you scheduled. Friday was one of the great days in rock and roll history. From back in, 1964, the Beatles had the top 5 songs on the U.S. Billboard charts.
Yes, all of them worth money. That's the part I like.
And all of them, very valuable, especially if there's a picture sleeve involved. And then, now that record, I think, has been broken by, Taylor Swift or
probably
somebody in the last 10 years. I think they had, 9 out of the 10 songs or 8 out of the 10 songs in the top 10, which was pretty spectacular. Anyway, for the time, that was a big deal. All right, we have for you 10 records worth $100 or more here in the month of April. So do that, and then I have a few for you to check on.
All right. Well, these will be popping up at the yard sales that should be starting pretty soon. So look for these. Otis Redding. Of course, he had a big hit with Sitting on the Dock of the Bay. The values for the album Soul Ballads by Otis, currently up to $100. Everything by Elvis, worth money. I'm All Shook Up. Number 1 hit for Elvis with picture sleeve, currently up to $150. 1984, John Lennon put out the album Milk and Honey. Little things made such a big difference in the value of a record. In the case of Milk and Honey, the vinyl, if it's black, up to $20. If the vinyl is yellow, up to $150. If the vinyl is green, up to $175. Michael Jackson, 1987, big hit, The Way You Make Me Feel. At the time, he was doing ads for Pepsi. Now,
right.
you can find a copy of The Way You Make Me Feel. It's a 12-inch single. And there's a Pepsi logo on the cover. It's worth up to $225. If that Pepsi logo is not on the cover, then it's down to $25.
Wow.
Speaking of the Beatles, the album Beatles 65, which came out in 1965, stereo copy up to $150, mono copy up to $400. How about Queen, Freddie Mercury, they getting to be collectible. Look for the 45 Body Language. Now, the picture sleeve makes all the difference. If the picture sleeve shows naked bodies, $10. But if it's just a plain white picture sleeve with red lettering, Body Language by Queen, $350. Kiss, getting to be quite collectible as well. Look for the album Kiss Alive 2. Most copies worth $40. But there are copies with the tracks Hooligan, Take Me, and Do You Love Me. If they're on the album, then the value jumps to $500. Now, they may not be listed on the cover, so actually have to listen to it to see if they're there.
So they may not even be listed. Wow.
Yeah. One of the great psychedelic bands of the 60s, Jefferson Airplane. They had a big album called After Bathing at Baxter's. Stereo copy, $30. Mono copy, $750. And After Bathing at Baxter's really means after bathing, taking LSD. Baxter was the band's code word for LSD, After Bathing at Baxter's.
Interesting.
Let me take it to the Sea of Love. Big hit back in the 50s for Phil Phillips. The label makes all the difference. On Mercury Records, $40. On the original Corey record label, $750.
Wow.
In 1959, it spent 3 months on Billboard's Top 40, and the song was used as the theme for the Al Pacino movie, Sea of Love. Number one on our list, very collectible, of course, the Rolling Stones. One of their very first albums, 12 by 5. Black vinyl, $150.
This is incredible.
Blue vinyl, and there are copies up to $10,000.
That is crazy. You know, I want to go back, if we could, to the Beatles 65. Stereo copy, $150. Mono copy, $400. It is interesting that it doesn't always say mono. There were some hydrophonic or something. I forget what it says, but as opposed to stereophonic, there was something else as opposed to mono. Do you know what that is?
High fidelity.
High fidelity, right? Yeah. So that would, if it says high fidelity, could it be mono or stereo or just mono?
Mono, but generally you can tell by the catalog number on the cover. Generally, you'll have an S in the letter if it's stereo.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I want you to know that Megan has gone through her belongings. She has a few records. Now, these are 78s. I see a lot of these. And let's see what John has to say.
All right. I inherited these from my dad. He bought a standing record player when he was in college. And so he's the second owner. I'm the third owner. And it was filled to the brim with old records. So I brought the Ink Spots. Decca Records, Do I Worry by the Ink Spots. I have Is It a Sin? Maybe. I have Isn't It a Dream Anymore?
These are all on 78.
Yeah, and it actually has a note on it. Doesn't change itself on this side. So, which is interesting. And then also I have If I Didn't Care. And lastly, My Greatest Mistake. And Please Take a Letter to Miss Brown, all by the Ink Spots.
Well, I think If I Didn't Care was their biggest hit. Bill, do you remember the Ink Spots? Are you going back that far?
The problem that I've learned from you, and you tell me if I'm wrong, that there are some old 78s that have value, mostly blues, but the people who would really be interested in the Ink Spots are dead. And
you just raised me up to bring me down.
now, am I wrong? I mean, tell me, John, I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure.
Well, yeah, basically you're right. I mean, you want to remember, basically, that just because the record is old doesn't mean it's worth money.
Yeah,
True, yeah.
So, but the ink spots were extremely big in their day, so they were very popular. Most of the 78s are on Decca Records and would go up to about $20.
All right.
All right, that's $20 in the pocket.
I find they make, I got to tell you, I find they're very pretty. The labels are very nostalgia looking, and they're durable because they're thick 78s. If you go to any craft store and buy a clock that you craft clock where you can make your own and put it through the hole, you've got a beautiful record clock that you can hang on the wall.
Just don't do it with a valuable record.
Yes, don't do it. Yeah, if that was a blues record, a 78, do not do that.
All right, Bill's going to go shopping through my records and make his own clock.
I am going to go home, though, because I'm pretty sure the Beatles 65 that I have is stereo. But even a vinyl record in really good shape, worth $150, is pretty darn impressive.
Yeah, I remember condition is very important. That's why we always say worth up to. So.
Yeah, I have a lot of old Beatles records that are scratched, just terrible. Yeah.
Oh, I hate to see that.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. If they were in good shape, it would be a whole different world. All right, moneymusic.com is the website. You have every record that ever existed, basically, and the value is there. You can get that right off your website.
A big deal right now for $19.95. You can get our record guide listing the values for 1 million records, our picture sleeve guide listing the values for 10,000 picture sleeves, and our directory of buyers. All of it, just $19.95 right now at moneymusic.com.
Love it. All right, John, we'll do it again soon. Thank you.
All right, guys. Thanks.
Have a great day. Mighty John, the record guy. The website is Money. I didn't want to blow it up until I got you on the air, and then I would blow it up. But they're really cool, right? Because they come in like binders, and they all look so they're heavy and they're thick. It's just nobody.
After the show, I'll show you the entire collection.
I have many of those that the people have given me over the years, and they unfortunately don't really have the value that you'd like them to have or think they should have.
I just want to say you look so young. I can't imagine that you have records. Like you look like a young man.
You're just kissing up so that I let you back in tomorrow. That's what you're trying to do.
I might be, but I'm speaking the truth.
Right now, the markets are volatile with what's going on with the tariffs.
Yeah.
It is a little scary out there, and futures show we're going to have another rocky ride here again today. Janice Spooner is the market president with Great Plains Bank. And there's a survey out there that business owners are still, I wonder when this survey was taken, business owners are still optimistic about the economy. Janice, good morning. What do you think here on this volatile start to a Monday, start to the week?
Good morning. Well, time will definitely tell how turbulent today and this week will be in the market. But nonetheless, as you referenced, business owners are still cautiously optimistic about what is going to happen in the next month, and a lot are still planning on expansion.
So I heard a lot of this over the weekend with the president's team. If you're looking at economists, they're saying this is history shows this is not the way to go. And that's probably about 90% of economists. But there are those out there who feel that this correction, based on a changing world, needs to be done. It has to be done, and feel that we will be in a far greater place once all of this is done. What do you think?
It does have a mixed message out in the world of economy and economics right now, because as with any growth, there is always pain and suffering, and some people are enduring that. But with what's happening, if we are truly going to take measures to correct the U.S. economy that we're hearing they're trying to attempt with all of these great changes right now, great as in magnitude,
Yes, large, enormous.
Yes, we'll see what happens and how it ends up. I think in the next 8 to 12 months, there's going to be turbulent waters. But what are small businesses doing to get through those waters and navigate them? I think as long as they're adapting right now to adjusting their profits and their profit margins and their expenses, I think they'll survive just fine.
So survive just fine, you say?
Mm-hmm.
Despite the stock market. So one of the things that I was watching over the weekend describes how business does rely on the stock market, and when these business owners get hit, it does dissuade them from maybe hiring right now, or maybe getting rid of a couple of employees to make up for losses that they've seen in the market. You don't see that happening?
I actually see people expanding and planning to expand. Now, it's really important that we talk about business segments because there are more that are suffering than others, especially those that are relying on imported goods or exporting, and tariff expenses are going to, how they're going to impact their business. Because there are a lot of businesses that have no impact due to tariffs because they don't do.
Right.
So those businesses are still looking to expand. And I was speaking to a small winery here in Texas, and that also brings in European, whether it's oak barrels or supplies that for their winery. You know, they're still planning on just eating those tariff expenses and not increasing charges.
What do you predict for the business that really relies on manufacturing in China? That their products must be manufactured in China right now, and even if we decide to bring that manufacturing home, and it may not be all of their product, maybe part of their product is made in the United States, but the containers or the packaging, all of that could be done in China. And yes, so okay, we'll bring that manufacturing back to the United States, but that could take 2, 3, 4, 5 years to ramp up. What will those businesses do?
They're going to have to look to somewhere else, unfortunately. And I hope they're already looking, because the ramp up time just to find someone else with a lesser cost to them.
Right.
I was talking to a small business wedding designer. They get their materials from China or Europe, or, you know, the lace overlays, all those things. They have already set the wedding dress prices for this season right now.
Right.
And so they're definitely going to be impacted, and we'll see significant shrinkage in their profit margin. But as long as they've got good capital and they've already started making those plans to look elsewhere, they'll be okay. But yeah, it's going to be some rocky waters.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. I wonder what the word okay will mean. Right. It's going to be very interesting to see what does okay look like. And we'll know that as we go through. And you're right. Those who have been responsible and have done their financial due diligence and maybe prepared for a rainy day, they probably will fare much better than those who are just flying by the seat of their pants.
Yes, I think those flying by the seat of their pants probably won't survive. But
so we could see another mass reduction of employers, like what we're seeing right now within the first couple of months of 2025, a lot of business closures. So are you expecting to see those amp up or steady?
Actually, what happened in the latest jobs report is an unexpected climb in hiring and employment that was not expected here. Those numbers came out on Thursday.
Right, and there's still a lot of employers looking to hire more or rehire those who are no longer here in the country.
You're right. I mean, and here we have a major deficit, and we're wondering where all of these employees went since COVID. They just disappeared, and there are so many companies looking to hire. But again, we'll see what all of this does with that. So, all right, interesting stuff. We'll keep an eye on it. Janice, thanks for your insight. We appreciate it.
All right. Have a great day. Thanks.
Thank you.
She, of course, is the market president with Great Plains Bank, and I believe that's located in Texas. All right, we'll check news. We'll do Micah's free money question of the day, which is worth $100 this morning, and I think a doozy, a good question. Also, this morning, we're going to speak with there is an outdoor show that is coming up at the end of the month, and it's Paul that's coming in. Paul Jenkins is the president of Oakhill Motors. They're holding an outdoor show happening at the final weekend in April, and the door is still open for vendors. I got to tell you, over the weekend, as they were taking calls for vendors, they realized someone else was looking for vendors for their show, or were they? It seems like it was a scam. They were looking to collect money from people who would give money to them for the show, only to find out that they weren't a part of the show. Don't be caught up in this scam. We'll talk to Paul of Oakhill Motors and that event coming up in a few minutes. And I do want to send out a wonderful message to a person that at 4:30 yesterday afternoon, so 4:30 on the corner of Seneca Turnpike, Middle Settlement Road and Clinton Road, you know, where they merge right over before you get to Stewart's. Yep. So I'm sitting at the light there, and there is a GMC black pickup truck. We'll nickname the pickup truck A-Hole. That was right behind me. So we're waiting for the light to turn green. The light turns green. I begin to hit the gas and go into the intersection, and a red car, I don't even know, it was a sedan, came plowing through and ran the red light.
What is it with people going through red lights?
Had I continued to go into the intersection, and it had been red for quite some time for them. Had I gone into that intersection, they would have plowed right into the passenger side of my car.
I'm glad you're okay.
And it would have been my wife that took the hit. I luckily stopped, saw him coming, and stopped. Meanwhile, here's my story.
Okay.
Johnny Rocket behind me, Johnny A-Hole behind me in the GMC black pickup truck begins to honk his horn at me because I'm not moving into the intersection. I really wanted to just put it into reverse and you know, but
I'm glad you.
No, I didn't do anything. I had my wife in the car who said, "Do not just hit the." So I then went through the intersection, but apparently not fast enough for this guy who continued to honk his horn at me all the way down Clinton Road. So to that guy, I just want to say, had I done what you wanted me to do, my wife probably wouldn't be alive today, you piece of garbage. So we'll get into all that. Well, we'll start with news coming up at WIBX.
Clearing out your home or commercial building, John's Cleanouts and Property Preservation will handle it for you. We handle residential or any size commercial property, before and after estate sale cleanouts, or any junk removal service. John's Cleanouts and Property Preservation is a 5-star rated and background checked business, providing service you can count on, and we're fully insured in the industry. Call John's Cleanouts and Property Preservation today and take the stress out of your mess.
Dear me, I'm you writing from your future. I know that you're hesitant to get care for your heart. But when you visit the St. Joseph's Health Cardiovascular Institute, you'll receive a higher level of care. Their team of highly skilled doctors, nurses, and specialists provides comprehensive heart care and quicker recovery times, giving you the best possible outcomes. Go to sjhsyr.org/CVI to get started. Don't wait. Get back to the life you love.
It's tax season. By now, we're all a bit tired of numbers, but here's one you need to hear. $16.5 billion. That's how much money in refunds the IRS flagged for possible identity fraud last year. Now, here's a good number, $100 million. That's how many data points LifeLock monitors every second. If your identity's stolen, they'll fix it guaranteed. Save up to 40% in your first year with promo code CLAY. Visit LifeLock.com. That's LifeLock.com, promo code CLAY. Terms apply.
Good morning, WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM news time is 7:35. I'm Megan Stone with your news update. It is 33 degrees and cloudy. Your full weather forecast is coming up next. The village of Herkimer is under a state of emergency due to a water main break. The break threatens public safety, and so residents are being asked to conserve water. Non-potable water will be available for pickup in front of the Herkimer County Jail at 711 Middleville Road for anyone affected by this water main break. And the village is asking those who do need water to bring their own containers. We'll have a full story up on WIBX950.com. The Trump administration is demanding Harvard University change certain policies to continue receiving federal grants. The White House opened a review into the Ivy League school over billions of dollars in contracts and grants. The demands are similar to the ones that the Trump administration asked of Columbia, including banning masks with some exceptions, implementing rules on protests, more accountability against student groups, and reforming university leadership and admissions and hiring practices. That includes closing down DEI programs. The government is also demanding Harvard comply with law enforcement and the federal government. President Trump's tariffs could make Bibles more expensive. Most Bibles are printed outside of the United States. The CEO of HarperCollins Christian Publishing, the country's largest Bible publisher, told the Wall Street Journal that it has been all hands on deck since the tariffs were announced last week. Trump's own personalized God Bless the USA Bibles are reportedly printed in China, where exports to the U.S. now face a 54% tariff. And Robert F. Kennedy Jr. says recent cuts at the Department of Health and Human Services could be reversed. On Thursday, he told reporters he expects about 20% of recently fired employees to be reinstated, as well as some programs. The department made wide-scale cuts to itself at the direction of Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency. Your WIBX news time is 7:37. Here is your full weather forecast.
Cold's back, so is accumulating snowfall. Lewis County and points north into the Tug Hill Plateau. Winter weather advisories for tonight. They see a little rain and snow this morning, but no accumulation. 45 and cloudy this afternoon. Rain and snow showers becoming all snow tonight, down to the mid-20s. So could be a little bit slick Tuesday morning with some scattered snow showers. Windy and cold tomorrow with a high only in the low 30s. Snow showers into tomorrow night. Chance of snow showers early Wednesday. Now in the advisory area, there could be several inches of snow. I'm meteorologist Ray Stachik from the Weather Channel, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
33 degrees under cloudy skies. I'm Megan Stone.
All right, I know Wayne wants to pipe in on the GMC truck that was pounding away at the horn. I swear to you, had I gone normally, light turns green, enter the intersection, that car would have plowed right into us. It was they either didn't see it or they just thought they could run it. I have no idea.
It's amazing.
Wouldn't it be funny, Wayne, if you called up and said, Bill, it was me in the GMC truck. I saw it was you, and I was just trying to say hello.
I was just going to say that light itself it's just disastrous to have that light the way that it is, because it's kind of like facing one way and you're like pointing another way, but you look up at it and it looks like it's green or red for the other side.
No, that's Seneca Turnpike and Middle Settlement. This is
you're at a different intersection.
This is Middle Settlement and Clinton Road. So if you were to turn right, you'd go over to Stewart's, past Stewart's, and then over into Clinton. If you were to turn left, you'd end up passing by Prestwick Glen. Over in that area.
I know where you're talking about now.
Yes.
That's a totally different area altogether.
Right, but and that stoplight, there's no issue with it. But the one you're talking about is on the corner of Middle Settlement.
Yeah, by Killebrew. That's the one I thought you meant.
Oh, by Killebrew. That's a completely different one. All those intersections, and then if you can add in the merging over there on Route 8 and the arterial, that's another one. People don't know how to merge. There are more near accidents over there. Then
or
I mean,
people
it's just
getting
crazy.
in the lane and realizing
they do it like it's a race.
They do it like it's a race. And here you are, you're coming out, you want to move on to the arterial. Somebody else wants to get off and get on the ramp to get on Route 8. And it's a fight between the two cars to see.
Yeah, they got to be first.
But the merging coming into traffic is the one that's supposed to be yielding, but they don't ever yield.
If you're on the left hand side and you could only pass from left to right, are you wrong for being on the right going faster, or on the left to to just keep your
if you're on the right,
your speed?
If you're on the right, you're supposed to yield to the other cars.
Exactly, because you can pass on you can go along as you're going along. You can actually pass somebody on going from left to right.
Right, that is
correct.
correct.
Go into somebody from right to left.
That is correct. That is right. Yep. That's because you're a brilliant driver. And everybody else is horrible.
I learned this from you at that life.
Believe me, these are little things that just get me going. By the way, I hope you've enjoyed this morning's segment of Bitch and Complain. We'll be continuing each morning at this time. All right, Wayne. Thank you, man.
Who's the guy you get that comes on about these lights and the traffic signs and everything? Because, boy, I got things to say to him. Get him back on.
All right, we will. There's a new person now, and actually we'll be speaking with her, and it's a female who handles it for New York State Department of Transportation. So we'll get her on. Cool. So, all right, Wayne, thank you. Okay, let's do Habaika's free money question of the day. Then I want to talk about a scam that, believe me, could hit any vendor out there who's thinking maybe they're going to kick off the spring season and make a little money, and then they get screwed. We'll explain what that is coming up. Davey, you're looking for caller number what right now?
Caller 3.
Okay, third caller right now. 315-736-0186. Caller 3, your chance to win from Habaika and WIBX is right now.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Celebrate AmeriQ Credit Union's 75th anniversary with an extra 0.75% off your new or used auto, motorcycle, boat, or recreational vehicle loan. Take the scenic route with your car or bike. Spend an extra weekend in the RV. Hit the water one more time with the jet ski or boat. And enjoy 0.75% off for our 75th. AmeriQ and you. Let's connect. Visit ameriq.org/loan sale to apply. Membership eligibility is required. Insured by NCUA.
Attention vendors, crafters, and collectors looking for the perfect place to sell your goods and reach thousands of eager shoppers? It's the world's largest yard sale happening again this year at the Herkimer County Fairgrounds, June 14th. It's the ultimate selling opportunity. No more setting up signs, hoping for traffic, or dealing with no-shows. At the world's largest yard sale, thousands of shoppers come ready to buy. Whether you sell antiques, collectibles, handmade crafts, vintage clothing, or secondhand treasures, this is the place to be. But hurry, booth spaces are filling up fast. Secure yours today and get ready to turn your inventory into instant cash. It's the world's largest yard sale at the Herkimer County Fairgrounds, June 14th. Sell more, earn more, reserve your spot now. For vendor info and booth reservations, visit the events page on this station's website. Don't wait. This event is too big to miss. Sponsored by the Potting Shed Antique, John's Mobile Homes and Accessories, Standard Heating, Cooling, and Insulating, and James Mitsubishi.
We all like convenience, right? ATMs, takeout food, drive-through pharmacies. Now, Bremer's is making it just as convenient to enjoy your favorite wines and spirits with Bremer's to go. It's simple. Place your order at bremerswineandliquor.com or save $5 on your first order with our mobile app. Order during store hours for pickup within an hour. Hey, you can even call us when you get to the store and we'll bring your order right out and load it in the car for you. Now that's convenience. Maybe you're planning a party. Maybe you want to stock up on your favorite wines, or you just want to save time when you're out and about. Whatever the reason, at Bremer's, we're all about incredible customer service. So when you're on the go, we are too. Order at bremerswineandliquor.com or save $5 with our mobile app. Order during store hours for pickup within an hour. It's Bremer's to go, available 7 days a week from Bremer's Wine and Liquor on Commercial Drive in New Hartford.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
By the way, the New York Mets over the weekend sweeping Toronto.
Yeah.
And somebody asking, why are we not talking about Rob Manfred's comments regarding the torpedo bat? And we will. We'll get to that coming up in just a bit. Let me go to our free money question of the day. And this is legitimately, if you can hit it right at that arrow. See that arrow that's right there? We're going to put you right there. I believe that. Yep, that's perfect right there. This is Davey. This is legitimate, right? Actually, caller number 3. You're not messing around in there, right? All right. Our contestant to play Hovaika's free money question of the day is Bob. Hello, Bob.
Well, hello, Bill.
Turns out it's not Bob. Hello,
Hey,
Stefan. Good morning. Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
What did Rob Manfred say about torpedo bats over the weekend? Did you see that story? I didn't see it, so I'm looking for it.
No, I didn't, but they are legal, I guess.
They are, and listen, I don't think that it's as big of a hyped. I think it's been overhyped, to be honest with you. And I think they're legal, and I imagine they'll stay legal. We'll see what Manfred has to say. I'll get to that story coming up. All right, you know how this works. We give you 7 seconds to answer, right?
Yes, I do.
7 seconds to answer, and to get your answer in, guess if you have to. This is worth $100. Ready to go?
Okay.
Here's your question. Which planet is known is known as the blue planet? Ready, go.
Is it Saturn?
Is it Saturn? Anybody want to lodge a guess here? It's a really obvious answer. It's planet Earth, of course. It's Earth, Stefan.
Oh, boy.
All right, we're going to give you something you want even more than the money, I'm telling you. It's a $25 free food and fun card. It is $25 good at Aquavina or Babes or 72 Tavern Grill, The Odd, Nexus, you name it. We have you covered. So stand by, and Davey's going to hook you up.
Okay, thank you, Bill.
Go Mets. Go Mets.
Juan Soto needs to get hot.
Right now, Juan Soto is doing a great job of inspiring Pete Alonso. And I guess I'm okay with that as long as we're winning. So you're right. He does. Thank you, Stefan. Stand by. Davey's going to hook you up. Come right up to that microphone. This is Paul Jenkins. Paul is the president of, so you were given the nod to come in here today and not your wife.
That's right.
Okay, just checking. Paul is the president of Oakhill Motors. And before we get started, I got to tell you, I've been going through your stuff, and I can't believe that RV that you have. And you have to tell me what the difference is. If it's an RV, does that mean it's pulled by a truck, or what is the difference?
RV, Bill, is just a recreation vehicle.
Okay.
It doesn't matter if you're towing it or driving it.
Got it.
Yep.
The one that you have that I was going through on your website that has 2 loft bedrooms, basically, and 2 private bedrooms with 2 bathrooms.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
My wife is not a camper, but she would do that.
Yeah. That's the Sandpiper, the new Sandpiper destination trailer we have. It's called the Duplex.
It is
and,
unbelievable.
We had that at the Syracuse show, and we've done really well with it.
Yeah. Wow.
Yep.
Okay. I want to talk about your hosting an event that'll be coming up. I feel like this is the launch to the spring and summer season, the outdoor showcase. That'll be presented at the Herkimer County Fairgrounds coming up April 25th, 26th, and 27th. I expect temperatures to be in the mid-70s by then. Let's cross our fingers, but it doesn't matter because it's all about what's available out there outdoor, whether it be RV or boats or anything. We'll let you talk about that, but you started accepting vendors that may want to participate, and tell us what happened.
Yeah, well, we put out a Facebook page for the show, and on the show there's a place that vendors can apply for an application and send it in. And the other day we were looking at our Facebook page, and somebody else had put a post on our page asking the vendors to contact them instead of us.
Huh.
So, I mean, I don't know if any vendors out there sent something, their application to anybody but us, but if they did, they should let us know and get to the bank and cancel
that check.
Yeah.
Because they're being scammed.
Yeah, oh, definitely, yes.
Can you, so this is a person, first name only. What was the first name of the person?
Marissa.
Right. And I did some searching on this as well before we had you on today, and I can't find her anywhere. So someone has stepped in, posted on and chances are they'd have an application where they pay electronically, and you'll never get that money back.
No.
So explain if somebody is a vendor, and by the way, you're not looking for food vendors.
No, we've made an agreement with the fairgrounds that they're going to supply all the food and drink for the show. So,
all right.
Yeah, we don't need food trucks.
So anything else? It could be camping. It could be lawn care. It could be whatever. There's no... Even an RV, which you own an RV in a RV company and you sell boats, you'd accept anyone?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
No, the more the better. We don't care if more RV dealers, all the boat dealers we can get. We're trying to make it a good show for the people that might be coming. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if we have vendors for antiques or any. We don't care.
Just not food.
Just not food, right?
And not paid to this woman. Do you want to add something?
Yeah. How many people tend to go to your RV show each year? What's the number?
This is the first one.
Oh, first one.
Yeah.
Okay.
When we were in Herkimer,
I'm thinking of the one in Syracuse. My apologies.
Yeah.
Well, that's one of the biggies that happens.
We go to that one too, and it's one of the reasons I wanted to try one here because it's a lot closer.
Yeah, that's
and there's nothing going on around here like that, an outdoor show.
Yeah.
So we're hoping we do good, and we'll maybe have one every year.
So the beauty of this, though, is here you are trying to put on this show. Here you are trying to bring in other people, and you've got some piece of garbage that is trying to steal from people. What is the only way, if someone wanted to be a vendor, they only deal with you? What is that phone number, and how would they reach out to you?
Well, our phone number is 315-895-7139, and they can call anytime. We also have 866-3030. We have a couple different emails, oakhillsales@gmail. That's probably the easiest one to remember. So, or call us, or we'll send you an application, or whatever we can do. Just make sure you're dealing with Oakhill. That's all.
Dealing with Oakhill, right, and not with anybody else.
Not with anybody
It
else,
is scary today. No matter what you do, there is some bad actor out there trying to find a way to take advantage.
Yeah.
Correct.
Which is crazy.
Scammers are getting a lot more sophisticated.
All right, it is the Herkimer County Outdoor Showcase. It happens with Oakhill Motors, RV and Marine, April 25th. 26th and 27th. I believe this is their first big show of the season.
It is. I mean, right now they have all their boats and stuff in storage, and they're trying to get them all cleaned out before the show.
Okay.
So,
all right.
They said they could do it, so that's what we're doing. Yeah.
Fair enough. So end of the month, take advantage of that. You can find details on Facebook about it, and that's that. But again, you make sure we're through Oakhill. Why are you raising your hand?
I just want to tell him I think you have a fantastic mustache.
Okay.
I just trimmed it.
Yeah, it looks great. It looks great. I wish I could grow a mustache like that.
It does, and I'll never turn his mic on again. But I do have to say, it reminds me of like the old Marlboro Man. You honestly could be in an old Life magazine on one of those ads.
Well, thank you, Bill.
Yeah.
I think.
Believe me, that's as far as I'm going. He opened the door. All right, again, only Oakhill Motors. If you are going to be getting an application for this show for the end of the month, do not be trapped or sucked in by some scammers. So, all right, Paul, good stuff.
Okay,
Thank you.
To say everybody come out and see us.
All right, good deal. Thanks for sharing your story. Got a break. Hold tight. We'll come right back at WIBX.
It all began in 1985 with a single goal, a commitment to brighten our community. And with your kindness, that light grew brighter. Because for 40 years, you've helped Food Bank of Central New York deliver healthy food and hope. But that need continues to grow. So this year, please consider giving a little extra and make sure the light we shine together never goes out.
If you're push mowing your yard using an inefficient lawn tractor, or your current zero-turn spends more time in the shop than mowing your grass, it's time you look at a Hustler zero-turn lawnmower. Residential mowers from Hustler are built like tanks and drive like sports cars. All Hustler mowers have fabricated welded steel decks, so don't settle on cheap units with flimsy stamped decks from big box stores. Come see Warner Sales and Service, and we'll guide you to the right mower for your property and your budget. Warner Sales and Service, located just off Route 365 between Rome and Verona.
It's tax season. By now, we're all a bit tired of numbers, but here's one you need to hear. $16.5 billion. That's how much money in refunds the IRS flagged for possible identity fraud last year. Now, here's a good number, $100 million. That's how many data points LifeLock monitors every second. If your identity's stolen, they'll fix it guaranteed. Save up to 40% in your first year with promo code CLAY. Visit LifeLock.com. That's LifeLock.com, promo code CLAY. Terms apply.
This is Keeler in the Morning. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Keeler.
All right, I want to tell you portions of the program brought to you by the fine people at Steve Lennon & Company Jewelers. The first Bloom Bridal event is on now through all of this month, right on through April 30th at Steve Lennon & Company Jewelers in the village of New Hartford. One of the things I want you to remember about Steve Lennon & Company Jewelers is there is a jeweler on the premises, GIA certified master jewelers and gemologists that are there in the store, ready to assist you with any repairs, or if you want to create something, or if something has to be sized. You have a beautiful diamond ring, and you got to have it shipped out to have any work done on the ring to protect it. That's not cool. I would like to know that it's staying right in-house. In fact, you can be right there in person and watch your ring being repaired. Or created. And right now, 30% off engagement ring settings. Buy one, get one free wedding bands. In-store, 12-month interest-free financing with some exclusions and an amazing custom bridal line with custom-made wedding rings and bands. And as we said, repairs are done in-store. It's Steve Lennon & Company Jewelers, 23 Genesee Street, New Hartford. Your trusted jeweler for over 30 years. And yes, private appointments are available. Okay, next hour, I really want to find out what is all of these changes, whether there are this is twofold, and it's the immigration issue and the tariffs. How is it affecting, I'm sorry, I didn't have your mic on. How is it affecting farmers? And we'll speak with Ben Simons on that coming up in a little bit. All right, Julie asking, you guys aren't talking about Manfred. And apparently, Rob Manfred, who's been on this program 2 or 3 times, commissioner of Major League Baseball, who is from Rome, as we all know, did speak with the New York Times and says about torpedo bats, they are absolutely good for baseball. And it's funny, I was talking the other day about how it may have been Ron Darling saying that he really believes that down the road, each player will have a fitted bat, very much like you get in golf. Manfred went on to say, I believe that issues like the torpedo bat and the debate around it demonstrate the fact that baseball still occupies a unique place in our culture because people get into a complete frenzy over something like this. So a great comment. We'll talk more about it on the other side. And we'll get into the agricultural world and tariffs. Coming up on WIBX.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome, W295EI, WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, a Town Square media station.
The selling continues in stock markets around the world.
I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Down across Europe and in Asia, 13% plunge in Hong Kong's market overnight, while on Wall Street, Dow futures are down more than 800 points after nearly 4,000-point loss the past 2 trading days on concern about President Trump's new tariffs on almost all imports. But Fox's Peter Ducey reports from the White House.
And we are not sensing any squishiness on the tariffs from White House officials. They can see the corner of the screen. They know that market futures are dropping all around the world, but this is going in the bucket of short-term pain that they told us they thought was going to come with something worth it for a bigger long-term benefit.
When they look at the fact that we have a $1 billion trade deficit, when you look at the trade.
Now, the president on Air Force One last night, this morning, he posted on Truth Social there's a $1 billion per country trade deficit, $1 trillion with China. And he said there's no inflation. Oil and food prices are down, and so are interest rates. Now, today, the president will host Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at the White House.
The two are expected to talk about tariffs. Netanyahu will likely try to decrease the 17% tariff the president has imposed on Israel. Before the president made his announcement last week, Israel dropped its tariffs on U.S. goods. The president and Netanyahu are also expected to talk about the hostages, Gaza, and Iran.
And speaking of Gaza, there was another round of deadly Israeli airstrikes after Hamas launched a rocket barrage into Israel. Days of storms that hit the south, doing a lot of damage, and flooding areas from Arkansas to Tennessee to Indiana are also blamed for at least 19 deaths. And in West Texas, a second measles death. Another child not vaccinated. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert Kennedy Jr. went there urging people to get the vaccine.
The death comes amid a surging outbreak. Over 600 cases have been reported nationwide since January. Nearly 500 of those were in Texas alone. Kennedy posting on social media that he is working to control that outbreak.
Ashley Strohmeyer, America's listening to Fox News.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
House Republican leaders are advocating the GOP lawmakers approve the Senate's budget blueprint that passed early Saturday that includes extending the Trump 2017 tax cuts amid Democrat concerns about other cuts included.
Oklahoma Republican Senator Mark Wayne Mullen.
No one in Medicaid, Medicare, and Social Security is losing any of their benefits that are due them. What we're trying to do is cut the waste and fraud out of any of those programs.
However, Delaware Democratic Senator Chris Coons says the Republicans are
frankly lying about the amount of waste, fraud, and abuse in Social Security.
And that the math simply doesn't work.
I don't think you can find $800 billion in just waste, fraud, and abuse in Medicaid and not cut people's benefits.
Both senators appeared on Fox News Sunday. Kevin Uretsky, Fox News.
An American soldier jailed in Russia gets a reduced sentence.
Staff Sergeant Gordon Black flew without permission to the East Russian city of Vladivostok to see a girlfriend. He was arrested last May when she accused him of stealing from her. Black's 3-year and 9-month prison sentence has now been reduced by 7 months. This after the 34-year-old's defense team asked the judge to acquit him of making threats of murder and reduce the punishment for theft. Black went to Russia when on leave instead of returning from South Korea to his home base in Texas. Jonathan Savage, Fox News.
A Russian set a record on American ice. Alex Ovechkin scored his 895th career goal, passing Wayne Gretzky for the most in NHL history.
All of you fans, for the whole world, Russian, we did it, boys. We did it. It's a history. Yeah!
Ovechkin on TNT. The only downside is Team Washington lost the game to the New York Islanders 4-1. In college basketball, Connecticut won the women's national championship, beating South Carolina 82-59. It's UConn's 12th title tonight. The men's NCAA championship game, Florida versus Houston. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
Good morning. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM news time is 8:05. I'm Megan Stone with your news update. It's 34 degrees under cloudy skies. Your full weather forecast is coming up next. Herkimer is under a state of emergency due to a water main break. The village's mayor says the break threatens public safety. Those who are impacted by this water outage, they could pick up water at the Herkimer County Jail at 711 Middleville Road. The village asks that you bring your own containers in order to get water. An Adirondack High School student faces multiple charges after engaging in a fight on school property. The Oneida County Sheriff's Office said deputies were called to the school on March 13th following the fight, and a victim sought medical attention. Following an investigation, a juvenile was charged with attempted assault in the second degree, obstructing governmental administration in the second degree, reckless endangerment in the second, and endangering the welfare of a child, all of which are misdemeanors. The juvenile was issued an appearance ticket returnable to Oneida County Juvenile Probation. The State Correctional Officers Union says it's asking for a meeting to discuss critical workplace issues. There are staffing shortages, scheduling inconsistencies, workplace conditions, and other issues, a spokesperson said, that need to be resolved. According to 7 News, Corrections Commissioner Daniel Martuscello said the union has failed to recognize the progress that was made and that real change takes time. Last Tuesday, he announced that some inmates will have to be released early because of the current staffing crisis coming from the February 17th labor strike and the firing of 2,000 officers. New Yorkers might start seeing higher prices at grocery stores as global tariffs go in effect. With several countries facing 10% reciprocal taxes on goods imported to the U.S., Americans are expected to dig deeper into their pockets. Shoppers might start seeing prices rise for fruits, nuts, sugar, meat, and dairy products. It comes as New York City food banks report more than 1 million New Yorkers rely on emergency food programs for their next meal. Food banks are calling on city leaders to put $100 million worth of funding into hundreds of community kitchens and pantries. Your WIBX news time is 8:07. Here is your full weather forecast.
Cold's back, so is accumulating snowfall. Lewis County and points north into the Tug Hill Plateau winter weather advisories for tonight. They see a little rain and snow this morning, but no accumulation. 45 and cloudy this afternoon. Rain and snow showers becoming all snow tonight, down to the mid-20s. So could be a little bit slick Tuesday morning with some scattered snow showers. Windy and cold tomorrow with a high only in the low 30s. Snow showers into tomorrow night. Chance of snow showers early Wednesday. Now in the advisory area, there could be several inches of snow. I'm meteorologist Ray Stachik from the Weather Channel, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
34 degrees outside under cloudy conditions. Now let's take a look at sports. Your sports report brought to you by the IBEW 43 local sports desk. A new men's college basketball champ will be crowned tonight. Florida is set to take on Houston. In San Antonio, the Gators are making their first appearance since winning back-to-back titles in 2006 and 7, and they knocked off SEC rival Auburn 79-73 in the Final Four on Saturday. Houston is making its first appearance in the title game since 1984. The Cougars have never won the championship in men's hoops. They enter fresh off a 70-67 takedown of Duke in the Final Four. I'm never going to get tired of this news. The UConn women are back on top of the college basketball world. The Huskies blew out South Carolina 82-59 in the national championship from Tampa. Sarah Strong and Azzy Fudd scored 24 points as UConn claimed its NCAA record 12th title in school history. Joyce Edwards and Tessa Johnson netted 10 points for the Gamecocks, who failed to repeat after winning last year's championship. The Yankees were unable to finish the sweep after falling to the Pirates 5-4 in 11 innings. Trent Grisham tied the game after hitting a 2-run single on the top of the 9th. New York is leading the AL East and will visit the Tigers for a 3-game series beginning this afternoon. The Mets swept their series with the Blue Jays, entering a 2-1 victory in the finale in Queens. Pete Alonso led the way at the plate after going 2 for 3 with an RBI single. Edwin Diaz secured his second save of the season. New York is 1 game back of the NL East lead and will host the Marlins tonight. Alex Ovechkin is now an all-time leading goal scorer in NHL history. The Washington Capitals star scored his 895th goal on Sunday against the Islanders to surpass Wayne Gretzky. It came on a power play in a second period after he scored what was his 42nd goal of the season. The game was stopped for an emotional ceremony on the ice. Brian Harman is celebrating his 4th career tour victory after winning the Valero Texas Open. Despite shooting a 3/75 in the final round, Harmon finished atop the leaderboard at TPC San Antonio at 9 under par. Ryan Gerard finished in second at 6 under. Maverick McNeely and Andrew Novak finished tied for third at the 5 under par. And Denny Hamlin is in the winner's circle again. The driver of the number 11 car held off William Byron just over a half second to claim the checkered flag of the Goodyear 400 from Darlington Raceway. It's his second straight NASCAR Cup Series win. Christopher Bell finished third at the field, prepares for the Food City 500 at Bristol Motor Speedway next Sunday. Your WIBX news time is 8:10. I'm Megan Stone.
All right, couple of things on the torpedo bats. Ross Bartel says Major League bats, golf clubs, you'll see them being customized for each player. That's probably coming in the future. Also know that hockey sticks are customized to an extent to the player's likes as well. Each player cuts their stick to length desired, and there are multiple curved shapes on the blade, and the lie angle between the shaft and the blade is specific to the player likes, as well as the flex of the stick's the stick shaft, all customized to each player. I don't think this whole torpedo thing is that much different than that and than a golf club. So interesting. Coming up, Ben Simons on agriculture, on the state budget, on immigration, and on the Trump tariffs. How is it affecting farmers? And, oh, by the way, all the snow in the North Country and maple syrup. There's a lot to get into with Ben coming up at WIBX.
Now at Kubota Orange Days, your local Kubota dealer at White's Farm Supply is delivering the savings you need for the life you love. Join us on Saturday, April 26th at our Waterville location for the exclusive deals on America's favorite compact tractors. We'll help you find the perfect match with special Orange Days financing and savings. Don't miss this chance to save on the Kubota you've always wanted. Only at White's Farm Supply in Waterville on Saturday, April 26th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m.
White's Farm Supply.
Attention vendors, crafters, and collectors looking for the perfect place to sell your goods and reach thousands of eager shoppers? It's the world's largest yard sale happening again this year at the Herkimer County Fairgrounds, June 14th. It's the ultimate selling opportunity. No more setting up signs, hoping for traffic, or dealing with no-shows. At the world's largest yard sale, thousands of shoppers come ready to buy, buy, buy. Whether you sell antiques, collectibles, handmade crafts, vintage clothing, or secondhand treasures, this is the place to be. But hurry, booth spaces are filling up fast. Secure yours today and get ready to turn your inventory into instant cash. It's the world's largest yard sale at the Herkimer County Fairgrounds, June 14th. Sell more, earn more, reserve your spot now. For vendor info and booth reservations, visit the events page on this station's website. Don't wait, this event is too big to miss. Sponsored by the Potting Shed Antique, John's Mobile Homes and Accessories, Standard Heating, Cooling, and Insulating, and James Mitsubishi.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to GoodRx.com/GLP. That's GoodRx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
Stop putting off registering for the 2025 Boilermaker Road Race because it's almost sold out. People are sprinting to Boilermaker.com to grab their racing bibs before they're gone. Reserve your spot at the starting line now and punch your ticket to the world's best post-race party, where there will be live music, drinks, food, and plenty of surprises. This year's Boilermaker will be bigger and better than ever, but the window to sign up is closing. So run, don't walk, to Boilermaker.com and sign up for one of America's most famous races. See you at the starting line, July 13th.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
Nagel on the torpedo bat. A lot of people, a lot of Yankees fans defending the torpedo bat. Imagine telling Tiger Woods he had to play with wooden clubs because titanium drivers were cheating.
Good point.
Well, I will say golf is one of those games, Davey, I'll bring you into this. Golf is one of those games that has completely changed over the last, how many years, 60, 70 years, based on technology, based on the creation of the difference in the ball,
and the shaft
club.
on the club.
Yes, yeah.
And the putter, the high putter,
yeah.
the short putter. The high putter is banned now.
Yeah.
A lot of people are going to the short putters, and like you said, the width and dimension of the shaft on your drivers.
Yeah, yeah. Although I believe picking up your ball and putting it in the hole is still allowed at Mar-a-Lago. Come on. The president won over the weekend. He won his tournament over the weekend. There are those who play with him that say, there may be a mulligan here, a mulligan there. A mulligan everywhere. Farmer Ben in studio right now. Ben Simons, good morning.
Good morning, Bill.
That was
Megan.
just a joke. It was just a little
There you
joke.
go. I got a question about your torpedo bat. So I do follow baseball a little bit.
Okay.
Not
All right.
hardcore, but a little bit.
Are you a Yankees fan?
No, I'm sorry. I'm a Red Sox. I'm from New England.
You are, yeah.
Are you wearing a Red Sox shirt underneath? It looks like it.
I believe I am. I didn't realize. Good observation.
We have enemy territory here.
Well, I don't let the Red Sox bother me as a Mets fan. Considering, Davey, what happened in 1986. Little Billy Buckner. But go ahead. I'm
Well,
sorry.
my concern is they're changing the bat to this torpedo bat. I
Yeah.
saw a little bit of the press on that. So how is that going to be fair to all the record setters that are in the Hall of Fame, like the Babe Ruth and stuff that hit major home runs on just a stick? And they've changed the bat. So does that change the playing field? You following me?
So it's very interesting because other than the asterisks that exists when it comes to steroids that was used in baseball, very much. I mean, actually, it was Mike that tipped me off to this last week. He said, if you go to the Hall of Fame, there's a really cool display, and it is their bat display. And it shows the progression of the bats and what they were back in the beginning of baseball during the Babe Ruth time, and how large the lumber was. I mean, they called it, still today we call it lumber, right? And
Hard maple and ash.
Completely, and that's the other thing. They changed the type of wood over the years.
Correct.
So I do think now if Major League Baseball went to college rules, and I believe college, Davey, can use aluminum bats in college.
What was the question?
Aluminum bats in college, they can use aluminum. They use aluminum bats in college.
Not in the Major League Baseball.
No, I know that, but okay, deep breath.
Okay,
we're talking about baseball uses wooden bats.
Yes.
Do they use aluminum bats in college?
Not.
Look it up.
Deeds from New Hartford says yes.
Yes.
I think they do.
Yes.
Yeah. But obviously not in Major League Baseball. But the bat has changed tremendously over the years. And here's the other thing that's changed is the way we use our players. So remember Babe Ruth used to pitch and bat. And, I mean, it just was a different game. So the velocity, the pitches are different today. So I do think records have to be looked at. I mean, you're still going to have your big records, right? But they do have to be looked at uniquely. And we've talked to people from the Hall of Fame about this because things have changed over the years. And it's hard to compare a record from today to a record from, although we do though, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so but as for the changing of the bats, that has been part of baseball since the beginning. Yeah. Football too. You remember when football they didn't have helmets? They were wearing those little rubber or those leather caps that were. I don't know what they were meant to do. I don't know.
Soften the cushion when you fall down.
I guess.
That's about it.
All right. Okay. We have a lot to get to. Let's start with the easy stuff first.
Okay.
You brought in some milk.
I brought in some maple milk, courtesy of the Collins Creamery Farm up in Lee Center. John Collins.
So I
and his
have
wife.
never had maple milk before.
It is.
It's
once
delicious.
you try that, shake it up because it settles. You will be addicted.
Yes.
And if you want to make it at home, it's really easy. You just take a glass of milk, just like you would regular glass of milk, And instead of putting Nestle's chocolate in,
you put
put your maple into the desired sweetness that you like.
It's delicious.
It's addicting.
And the key is that you use
New York maple syrup.
Well, the key is that you use real maple syrup. You don't
Correct.
put in the
not Aunt Jemima or any of that.
stuff.
No, you use the real maple syrup.
Can I tell you something else I used to have as a kid, and I make it home now? And I guess I'm the only one that really loves it. Although I think my kids like it. Is honey butter.
Mm-hmm.
Used to be able to buy that in stores, and you don't see it anymore.
But you see maple butter. And
you do see that.
Yeah.
Yep. You do see that. All right. Yeah. So this is, first of all, what did the weather do? We had a hard winter.
We did.
What does that do for maple syrup production?
So the maple producers were really expecting a super year because the trees never thawed out in January. We didn't get the January thaw, so all the trees stored up, you know what I mean, down in the roots.
Yeah.
And then when it finally did warm up there back a few weeks ago, maple started to run, we had a little problem. We shot clear up into the 70s for a couple of days, and we didn't drop down below zero a few nights.
Yeah.
And so the maple producers that I've talked to at the VVS school and the Tibbitzes and stuff like that, my locals, and Neil Collins, which is the president of Oneida County Farm Bureau, and he's a very large sap collector fellow.
Yeah.
The sugar content wasn't there.
Oh.
Instead of running 2 and 3 and sometimes 4% sugar, it was hanging down in that 1 and 2%. Just because the trees didn't get that big fluctuation that they need.
Yeah.
When it warmed up, it really warmed up.
Right.
And so even though they were expecting a super year because all the pieces were in place to have a super year, it didn't happen. Everybody's having an average year or maybe a little bit better than an average year. But the sap was less sugar content. So instead of taking 38 to 40 gallons of sap to make a gallon of syrup, it was taking closer to 50 gallons of sap.
Wow.
A lot more boiling this year.
So does that mean higher prices on?
Yeah, there's still some leftover syrup from the past couple years. And with the tariff problem, I know we're going to go there because I've been listening to you this morning. With the tariff problem between Canada, a lot of syrup is going to stay American-sized for this year, American-sized, but in the United States. So the producers are going to be looking to sell it domestically, here locally.
Right.
So my advice to you and your listeners, is go out, find your local maple sugar shack, whether you live in Oneida County, anywhere, and buy local and support that farmer. The money you give that farmer for that maple syrup stays on that family farm. Thank you, Bill.
Where's the best place you can get because not every maple syrup producer is in a grocery store.
Correct.
So oftentimes you'll find it in the, like the apple orchard places.
Any place that has local products. Any place that has a local product will have it. A lot of maple producers are putting out a roadside stand where you can go make your own change. The names that come to me just quickly here is the VVS school down on that part of the county.
So I didn't know, is that where this milk is from?
Nope, the milk is from
maple
Collins,
syrup.
But the maple syrup is from the VVS high school.
So these are the when I drive by there, I see that they have a whole maple syrup production program that they're doing.
They do. That's a huge production.
These are high school students.
They're high school students. Most every FFA chapter, Future Farmers of America chapter across the country, has a project that is their staple. Like up in Remsen, where I'm from, they're doing greenhouse stuff.
Okay.
The VVS happens to be maple syrup. They've been doing it for generations, multiple generations there. And then here locally, you have the Tibbitzes up there in New Hartford. You've got the Shaws right outside of Clinton. You just Google Maple in Oneida County, and you can find it. It's all of Northeast. So don't think you got to have just one specific variety because it's everywhere here.
I want to,
and I don't want to forget Beth Iron's food. Farmers Market.
Farmers Market.
That's a great place to go.
We got to make note of that, and because we've not had her on quite some time. I love that.
And this is getting to be Beth Iron's farmers market season. They're coming into all the new crops, so this will be a great time.
And I know they run over the winter, but she's about to go to the summer season, which is every week. Down at the train station.
Okay. And that is a great place to support your local agricultures right there. So
I love
Beth Irons is great.
And did you see along the thruway, there are certain thruway rest areas that will bring in either a farmer or or an
Yes.
Amish farmer, all along the thruway now you can get certain products.
I haven't seen it, but I've heard about
Yeah,
it. And so, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to split you up into two pieces.
Okay.
And we're going to get into immigration and tariffs in a second. First, though, I want to ask you about the state budget. We still don't have a budget.
No.
What are you looking at? What are you looking for? Because depending on what you do, if you're a farmer, there's a lot to look at. What are they going to do?
Correct.
If you're in education, there are a lot of questions. If you're a corrections officer, I mean, there's so many different elements of this budget, and it is just, once again, being delayed. How is that affecting farmers?
Okay, so the farmer side. First of all, I want to say that we all know that Kathy Hochul, our governor, is a very controversial person. Okay,
I would say she has reached that level.
Yep, I want to make sure I say that. Now, me as a farmer in the farm community, we're this is controversial, but we ought to be pretty happy with her right now.
Okay.
As far as in the budget, her preliminary budget that she put out a month or two ago for the Senate and the Assembly to review and approve, she funded most all of the agricultural programs to what Farm Bureau asked. Okay? So when we went to Albany the first few days in March to lobby for funding for programs like Cooperative Extension, Soil and Water, the Future Farmers of America, the county fairs, because the state gives the county fairs a little money. She funded them programs right to basically what we were asking for. So we were happy with her level of funding. The things that we're not happy with her is a lot of these unfunded mandates that are coming down on some of the pesticides and herbicides and the labor issues. So we changed our focus from the day we made the appointments to go see all our elected legislators to actually getting on the ground in Albany. We changed our focus from asking for funding, because the governor has already put it there, to unfunded mandates and regulations and different things that are coming down the pike against the agricultural community negatively. So the other thing I want to say is I actually had access to the governor. We have on the first day, usually Monday, on the third day of March, I believe it was, we have what they call the Taste of New York, where all the counties that represent New York have a booth. And some do, some don't. But Oneida County, we specialize with some maple syrup and maple milk, and we had potatoes, and we had some bacon with potatoes. And we had some winery up there in Remsen, the Prospect Winery. And the governor makes it a point with the commissioner of ag and the president of New York Farm Bureau to go around to all the booths and say hi to the farmers. Well, when she came to the Oneida County booth and we did our pictures, which you've seen on my Facebook, then I said, I called her Kathy. I did. The president of the Farm Bureau says, Ben, next time you got to call the governor. Well, she remembered me from last year. She says, You're Farmer Ben. You're Farmer Ben. I said, thank you, Kathy. I said, yeah, but I'd like to talk to you for a minute. We're having a devastating problem with snow up in the northern part of the county.
Yes.
And all the way up the shadow of Lake Ontario. Excuse me, the shadow of Lake Ontario.
And when we...
And she took it serious.
As we're looking at the snow that's been gone, I mean, slowly it went away very quickly.
Correct.
Does that make sense?
Without much trouble either.
Without difficulty, we lost the snow here in March. However, the North Country, it's just...
I'm still white.
Still
Star
dealing
Hill
with
is still
snow.
white. I'm still white.
How many inches do you still have?
Oh, anywhere in the woods, it's anywhere from 6 inches to 10 inches in the woods. Yeah. On the edge of the field, there's still snow or shadow.
And there's more to the north of you. I mean, you're north, but you're not that far north.
I'm not that far north. There's still a lot of distance between me and
This has been a devastating year for winter.
So I was able to have a one-on-one conversation with her, with the Farm Bureau president and commissioner of ag right there. And I find her, I got to tell you, this is the second year I've said it. She is very receptive to agriculture. She is from upstate. She's from the Rochester area.
Western New Yorker.
She gets ag. So we don't need to sell her ag. You follow me? We don't have to talk to her like a downstater. And when I told her what was going on, she turned right immediately to the Commissioner of Agriculture, Richard Ball, and she says, I would like you to check this all out and get back to me. But in the meantime, Marianne Buttonshaw and Joe Griffo and our upstate legislators, Brian Miller, had already sent a letter to her stating that there is devastation in our district. But when it comes from a farmer, you know what I mean? It's
Sure.
a one-on-one. So I understand she's very controversial, but at the end of the day, me, Ben Simons, as a farmer, talking to the governor, she is very receptive to the needs of agriculture. And I just want to say that publicly.
That really is how we judge our politicians.
Yeah.
I will tell you, if you're a corrections officer, you don't feel the same way.
I don't think I'd be sitting in the same room with that conversation.
No.
But,
However, if your interests are in farming, and if she's coming through, I will say there's some areas where it's been a little difficult, and that is the labor issue. And
Correct.
And then
Labor's
I didn't
been
know
tough.
much, don't know much about the pesticide issue. But one thing I have learned from you is that farmers are probably far more responsible when it comes to pesticide use than the average person
Absolutely.
trying to get the daffodils.
I cringe when
or
I
the-
drive through New Hartford or down where you live, Bill, and I see those beautiful lawns and I
Yeah,
see the
I know.
spray people out there. I just cringe because the farmers, two reasons. One, they can't get away with using the amount of chemicals a normal homeowner uses or a golf course.
Yeah.
Second of all, the economics of it.
Yeah.
It is so expensive.
And
so thank you.
it is killing the bees.
what
It
they
really
tell
is.
us.
So, all right, stand by because we're going to come back with the tough stuff, the tariffs.
That was a tough subject talking about the governor.
It was. I'm glad.
But she's good to ag.
On the federal side, tariffs and immigration, two big issues. How is this stock market, which is plummeting? We'll see where we go today. Futures are saying another rough ride. We'll see. But how is all of this affecting the farmer? We'll get to it after news. We'll let Megan do that coming up. It's 8:31 at WIBX.
Hey, it's Polly from Big Frog 104 with the perfect solution for your manufactured or mobile home problems. John's Mobile Home Parts and Accessories in Oriskany Falls. If you've had issues with your furnace, now is the time to think about replacing it. Don't wait until next winter. Your skirting around the home could have taken a little beating. John has skirting too. With energy costs continuing to rise and no relief in sight, you need to make sure your mobile or manufactured home is energy efficient. John has new doors and windows in stock as well. Find it all at johnsmobilehomepartsandaccessories.com.
Good morning. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM news time is 8:32. I'm Megan Stone with your news update brought to you by Clinton Tractor, the leader in service. Visit clintontractor.net. 35 degrees under cloudy skies. Your full weather forecast is coming up next. Herkimer is under a state of emergency due to a water main break. This does threaten public safety, according to the village mayor. There is a water conservation advisory as well. The break occurred Friday on the northern line. Residents are asked to minimize their water usage, and those who are impacted by the water main break, they can pick up water at the Herkimer County Jail at 711 Middleville Road. They are asking villagers to bring their own water containers. A Waterville man was arrested for violating an order of protection. Oneida County Sheriff's Office said they were called to a Stafford Avenue home in Waterville for a welfare check because a man there was reportedly acting erratic. Police determined 44-year-old Gregory Getman contacted a protected party and violated an order of protection. Getman refused to meet police outside the residence but surrendered after authorities obtained an arrest warrant. Getman was charged with criminal contempt in the second degree, which is a misdemeanor. He was taken to the law enforcement building to await arraignment. A New York Mills man was arrested on several drug charges in Utica. Utica police announced officers conducted several search warrants at a New York Mills home on Clinton Street and were joined by several departments, including the Oneida County Sheriff's Office. Inside, authorities discovered 780 grams of cocaine, 475 grams of methamphetamine, and over $886,000 in cash. Police arrested 51-year-old John Miller and charged him with criminal possession of a controlled substance in the first and second degree. And lawmakers are back in the Capitol today as they try to hammer out a final agreement on a new state budget. The deadline to reach an on-time deal was last Tuesday, and since then, 2 budget extenders have been approved to make sure the state can continue to pay its bills. The latest extender is set to expire today, meaning another one could be needed if a deal isn't reached. Much of the holdup involves policy debates like cell phone use in schools and changes to discovery laws. It is 8:34. Here is your full weather forecast.
Cold's back, so is accumulating snowfall. Lewis County and points north into the Tug Hill Plateau. Winter weather advisories for tonight. They see a little rain and snow this morning, but no accumulation. 45 and cloudy this afternoon. Rain and snow showers becoming all snow tonight, down to the mid-20s. So could be a little bit slick Tuesday morning with some scattered snow showers. Windy and cold tomorrow with a high only in the low 30s. Snow showers into tomorrow night. Chance of snow showers early Wednesday. Now in the advisory area, there could be several inches of snow. I'm meteorologist Ray Stachik from the Weather Channel, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
It is currently 35 degrees under cloudy skies. I'm Megan Stone.
Coming up, we'll speak with Ben Simons on the tariffs, on the current market, the stock market, and immigration. Three big issues that could affect farming. Does it? Will it? What are these tariffs going to do? We'll get to all of it coming next to WIBX.
CDC recommends that people age 65 and older and those with moderate or severe immunocompromise should receive a second dose of seasonal COVID-19 vaccine 2 to 6 months after their last dose. Learn more and make an appointment at KinneyDrugs.com. Walk-ins are also welcome at all Kinney pharmacies.
Easter reminds us that new beginnings are possible. You can help the Rome Rescue Mission provide the chance for a new beginning for a family in our area. It is the Rome Rescue Mission's goal to help families in need to celebrate this Easter season. You can help a family of 5 this Easter with your generous support of $25. For $25, the Rome Rescue Mission will provide a family of 5 with a hot meal and give them a memorable Easter celebration. A feeling of safety, a feeling of knowing that someone cares. From there, a person can rebuild a life. Through resurrection power comes freedom from the past and an unlimited future. Everyone deserves a chance at a new beginning. Won't you help make that happen for families in our area this season? Rome Rescue Mission, giving hope and loving the lost. Please donate now at romemission.org. That's romemission.org. Rome Rescue Mission, a hand up, not a handout.
This is Dr. Robert Fleischer, urologist with Upstate Urology at Mohawk Valley Health System. Prostate cancer is the most common cancer and second leading cause of cancer death in American men. Early detection is critically important in managing this cancer and improving survival. I strongly encourage all men aged 45 to 75 to get screened, and you can do so at one of our free prostate cancer screenings. For more information or to register for this free screening, please call 315-624-4600, 315-624-4600.
¿Sabías que el cáncer de próstata es el cáncer más común y la segunda causa principal de muerte por cáncer en los hombres estadounidenses? Se recomienda encarecidamente que todos los hombres de entre 45 y 75 años de edad se hagan la prueba de detección. Puedes hacerlo en uno de nuestros exámenes de detección de cáncer de próstata gratuitos. Para obtener más información o registrarse, visite mvhealthsystem.org/urology o llame al 315-624-4600.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to goodrx.com/GLP. That's goodrx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
Hey, portions of the program brought to you by the Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills. They're accepting new patients as we speak. The Falcon Clinic is the area's premier osteopathic medical clinic. I think I'll be there this week. I might have an appointment this week. They do, with Dr. Zielinski, it's kind of like going to the chiropractor, but it's more extensive, and it lasts for about a half an hour to 40 minutes, and it's everything. To opening up your sinuses, to all of the things that make you tick and tick properly. It makes all the difference in the world. It's Dr. Zielinski, Dr. Schmemells, and the other physicians. Maybe you need acupuncture or counseling, all under one roof at the Falcon Clinic and they're accepting new patients now. 315-507-4751 for the Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills. Jay is on with a question. Jay's in Vernon, has a question for Ben, and maybe help him with some headphones there, if you could. Hey, Jay, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you all doing?
Good. What do you have?
Good. Mr. Simons, I had a quick couple things to throw by if you'd be so kind to answer them if you could.
Okay.
Me and my grandson, I got a little hobby farm, and he wants to buy a couple yearling cows, and he wants to go with Holsteins, and then, I don't have enough pasture land, so I'd have to buy some hay, then raise them to a certain age, and then maybe have them bred artificially and take them to auction. And I was kind of telling him maybe get a couple beef cows and raise them to time to send them to market for beef. I don't know which one would be more lucrative or if I'd lose money in the deal, but it's a good hobby.
Ben, what do you think?
Yep. So to buy a beef calf right now, a young 3-day-old, 5-day-old beef calf right now, you're going to spend anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500. That's what less than week-old baby calves are bringing on the beef side. On the dairy side, they're nowhere near that expensive. But you're going to spend the same amount of time, 2 years, to grow a dairy heifer up and breed it to the time it gets ready to market that animal as a new milking cow, versus the beef cow is the same thing, 1.5 years, 2 years to grow it up. And the way the price of beef is and everything, my choice at this point in time is your more lucrative at the end would be the beef animal. Much easier keeper.
Mm-hmm.
They don't need so much grain because they utilize just their metabolism utilizes the hay and the grass better than a dairy animal. So my advice for what your child is trying to do, I would go with beef right now. You're going to spend a lot of money up front.
That is amazing to me that because you're up front, you're going to be $1,000 to $1,500.
Yep.
And then you got to feed them.
Yep. For 2 years.
And then you got to pay to have them slaughtered.
Yep.
And packaged.
We would just send them over to the local auction house, or maybe
okay.
I wouldn't go to the route of taking them and having them slaughtered myself, then try to sell the beef. But would it be more lucrative if you had them artificially bred? Do they bring more money if they're getting ready to have a calf, or just send them as a regular beef cow?
If you're growing a couple of beef animals out behind your house, let me tell you what, the advertising of them animals being on your property will sell themselves. You don't have to go out to sell them. People want to buy local. And if you just tell a few of your neighbors and friends that you have a beef animal that you're going to send to the slaughterhouse eventually, it'll sell itself. If you don't want to get emotionally attached, Burton's out there in Vernon is a good, lucrative place to sell your animals. They do bring market price. But the ultimate is don't have any middleman. You raise it, sell it, send it to the butcher shop, and you'll come out of it. Your son next time around will want 4 animals instead of 2.
I don't have the property for that. Now, somebody told me to shy away from the Angus and go with the white-faced Hereforders. Angus are a little not quite as calm. Is that true?
That is absolutely true. If you want high-strung beef cattle that'll get out every time you turn around, they jump the fence, they'll push through the fence, is your Angus. The most docile is what we call the Herefords, the whiteheads. There's all brown animal with a white head or a black animal with all white head. Okay. The Angus are pretty rough.
Well, he's been working to save him money, and I got a little 2-acre little pasture land, and I got a little pole barn stall I could do. I think we're going to give it a try maybe this spring.
That is a great way to a great lesson to teach a kid, I would think. So, all right, good stuff,
luck
Jay.
with your crops this spring, and have a great afternoon, you guys.
All right, thanks, Jay. You too. By the way, if somebody wanted to buy a quarter cow, you can buy quarter, you can buy half, you can buy the whole thing if you have the freezer space for it. But let's say a quarter, what does that cost?
Right now, the hanging weight for them is around $3.50 a pound for the hanging weight. Now, if you want just a hind quarter, you're going to pay a little more because that's where your high-end cuts are.
Right.
Versus the forequarter, the front quarter.
Yeah.
So I don't know exactly when you break it down to quarters, but I know they're averaging anywhere from $3.50 to $5 a pound, depending on the breed of the animal. Angus are going to bring you the most money because that's the higher end of animals.
Yeah.
But $3.50 to $5 a pound for the hanging weight, and then by the time you pay the cutting and the wrapping, the processing of it, rule of thumb is $1 a pound. It's a little high, but rule of thumb, buck a pound.
All right.
And that's ready for your freezer. So contact a local farmer.
Love it when you can use ground beef, for instance, and it came from one cow.
Yep.
And you know where it came from.
And it came locally, and it wasn't chemically induced.
Yep. Love that.
And
All
you're
right.
supporting local.
Let's talk about everything going on right now, the stock market, the tariffs. Let's start with the tariffs.
Okay.
How's that going to affect the dairy industry?
Now,
and it's not like this isn't China anymore. We're talking about Canada, which really hits us.
This is the real deal, guys. So the dairy guys right now are going to take the hardest hit. There's no question about it. If you look at the futures price since Donald Trump announced the get even tariffs, just go with me on my farm lingo, the dairy price has plummeted. There's no question about it. It's hit a trigger with the USDA that the farmers are going to get an insurance payment because of the differential price between feed and milk. So the price of milk has plummeted. So that's going to trigger a payment from the government from an insurance policy. On the grain side, okay, the price of corn has gone up. Commodity corn, like what my son grows, has gone up. And the reason for that is because when we sell corn out on the world market, when you're the buyer on the other end, you have to take into account to be able to sell it to whoever your customer is on the other end or utilize. They have to add the tariff on top of the price of grain, which artificially suppresses our price. So the variation price is the farmer's grain. Then they build the tariff on top of it to be able to sell it. So since the announcement of the tariffs, the commodity prices of corn has gone up.
Does that mean we'll spend more for it at the market?
Nope, because it stays domestically.
Right
here,
our domestic
we don't have
affect that.
We have no tariff here,
and
but
we're using American corn.
Correct.
Yeah.
And the other thing too is the strength of our dollar. There's no question that has a big part to do with it. When our dollar is really strong, the other countries have a hard time buying tons of our feed because they can't buy as much. So what's happening now is everything's in upheaval. Milk has gone way down. Corn is shooting up. Soybeans, you watch, is going to kind of show up a little bit here because everything follows corn. Wheat, soybeans, everything follows corn. So right now we're in a turbulent. But I just want to tell everybody, tariffs, this whole thing with tariffs, we knew it. Us farmers knew this, especially trying to sell milk to Canada. They have a 258% tariff on our milk crossing the border.
Wow.
But when Canada has a surplus of milk, guess where they dump their surplus?
Right.
In the United States. What they're trying to do, you can't be mad at them. I mean, Donald Trump's handling it right.
But the dairy is really something that Donald Trump actually renegotiated.
Correct.
So that was negotiated where there is a plateau that needs to be reached.
Yep.
And we've not reached that, so we're not paying that dairy tax to Canada.
Correct.
So we haven't paid that tariff based on what Trump negotiated during his first term.
Correct.
But now we're back up and there's change all of a sudden.
That's right. It's all in an upheaval. And what is going on is, and you can't get mad at the Canadian farmers either because they're trying to protect their milk market up there. They have a quota system.
Right.
We don't. We're free to make any amount of milk we want here. In Canada, those farmers have a quota system they have to make.
Yep.
They can't drop below that quota to a point, and they can't go above it to a point. So that's what's protecting them. So when they start hearing that the American farmers are shipping their excess milk to Canada, now you're putting pressure on their local farmers. That's why that tariff is so high. And you're right. Everybody's all upset over this tariff. I see it. It's all over the news. It's everywhere. But at the end of the day, back up. Look at the past time when he was the 45th president. Everything was in upheaval just like it is today. Identical. No different.
Well, we have not seen the stock market react like this.
Correct. But
that didn't happen then. This is new.
This is new. But just sit back and watch this. Because when Trump at the end of his term and the first part of Biden, everything was going along good. Everybody was saying Biden was doing a good job. But it was the results of what Trump did during his negotiations is what it is. So I haven't money invested in the stock market.
Right.
As most farmers do.
Be my next question.
Some. Go ahead.
Well, the other part of the Trump term where I find it's hard to compare the two is we lived through COVID during the Trump term.
Yep.
So that completely changed everything because obviously the world shut down when COVID hit. So that will be interesting. But you're optimistic that this is going to hurt now, but it's going to turn around. How long do you think before it turns around?
I'm hoping less than a year.
Okay.
But it's going to be at least a year because we're just coming into our planting season. No one knows what there's a multiple of pieces in this thing, the puzzle. There's the tariff issue. Then at the same time, we've got the planting issue. The USDA reports will come out how many acres of corn are going to be planted, how many acres of beans, and how many acres of soybeans, and cotton and things like that. Right now, the reports the farmers are giving to the government is that we're going to plant more corn than ever, 95 million acres or 96 point something million acres. But the farmer can sit and say, I'm going to plant my entire farm this year to corn. Well, if it starts raining and we have a late spring, all of a sudden
things change.
Yeah, crops will change. So there's a multiple of things that create.
You're still reliant upon the weather.
Mother Nature controls everything.
Stock market, does it affect the average farmer?
Absolutely, it does.
Yeah.
Yep. Stock market affects everybody, including you, Bill, sitting here in Megan.
Whether you're in the market or not, it affects everyone.
That's correct. It affects our money. And like myself, I'm now a retired dairy farmer, but I still have my cows, beef, cattle, and stuff in dairy. But I was very lucky. I had some good years, and I invested in the stock market. And I did watch over the weekend. I called my stock lady that is handling my portfolio for me. And, I lost a big chunk of money this past week.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, I want to make sure that I tell everybody what she told me. Ben, you didn't lose anything. The only time you lose is when you cash it out.
Correct.
So sit back and just enjoy the ride. It's going to get better.
The advice that has been given, and I did see somebody giving advice to get out, which I just think is a terrible move. You just got to hold the course.
Correct.
This will now. I hope you're right. And
don't change your course.
Within the year, I hope everything comes back around and we begin seeing that, but it might be longer than that. Right. Either way, you're right. You don't lose money until
you cash it.
You sell.
And just look at history. Yeah. Look at history. Things get better. Okay.
Okay. On the immigration thing, it is an issue for farmers.
It is. It's really turned the agricultural community upside down. It really has. I don't. The problem is, and I've said it before on your show, Bill and Megan, is the government made a lot of our Spanish labor on the farm illegals. The government did it because they can't fix that H-2A program. I just recently, myself and the Farm Bureau, just met with Congressman Jonathan Mannion here just recently and said, listen, you got to get into this thing.
Yeah.
Because the migrant workers on our farms all have what they call H-2A program, the legal ones. Okay, mm-hmm. They have H-2A, and they're only supposed to be here for basically 6 months, a growing season. Yes. The dairy farmers need migrant workers year-round. So when they come here, they have their paperwork. They're in order. I'm talking about the legal ones that did it right now. They came, they got the H-2A program, they got their working visa, they got on the farm, and then 6 months later, their visa runs out. But guess what? We're still employing them. So that turned them into illegals. It's like the gun program with the governor. She took a lot of us people that have guns and made us illegal. So it's the same thing. We need to fix the immigration program so that the migrant workers can come and stay for a 2 or 3 year period rather than just that 6 months program. So I want people to understand when you drive by a farm and you see Spanish labor on the farm and go, oh my God, they're all illegal. No, they did it right. A lot of the ones on the farms did it right. It's just the system made it wrong.
Yeah.
So, and Mr. Holm understands that. The ones he's going after are the ones that are the problems in communities. You follow me?
Right.
He's not attacking a farm. So I want to make sure everybody understands he's not pulling in randomly to a farm and taking away their labor. That's not the mission.
So farmers are not losing labor.
They're not, but they're scared because if something goes wrong and immigration ICE pulls in on a farm and rounds up all that hired help that's on the farm,
what do they do now?
Who's going to milk and feed them cows?
Exactly, and also you lose your reputation.
And a lot of cows.
And a lot of cows.
We've really moved towards the really large farms.
Correct.
Today, so.
There's not many little farms that are family.
I guess that is what I have for you. That's a lot of stuff. You covered a lot of ground today.
I thank you, Bill, for giving me this extra time today. And,
well, I wouldn't have had you not given us the milk and the maple syrup.
Oh, I gotcha. I know what the key is now.
Technically, I want to clarify that because that would be payola. You get the interview no matter what. But we do appreciate you giving us an opportunity to be able to sample what...
This is the first crop of the year, no matter what. The very first crop of every year
is the
your maple
syrup.
Yep.
All right.
Always. Yep.
Okay.
And I want to thank you, Bill and Megan, for allowing me to be the voice of agriculture, and I look forward to working with you continually.
Thank you. We do have one comment from Lance from Lee. He says, for Mr. Simmons, I'm from New Hampshire, also
like I am.
Why would you move from the least regulated state to the most regulated state for farming? What's the biggest difference between the two?
Okay, very simple. You've
been here a long time, though.
I have. I moved here in August of 1984. And what it is New Hampshire has no sales tax. They have no income tax. But they have property tax. They have the same systems New York has. So everything comes down heavy on the land. You follow me? And to own the vast amount of land that I own here, my taxes, instead of being... My taxes up there in Steuben, Westernville, and Remsen are running, I don't know, $14,000-$15,000 a year. If I owned this vast amount of land in New Hampshire, my tax would be probably close to $25,000 a year.
Wow.
And land in New Hampshire is very hard to farm because it's granite. That's the granite state. Rocks in the growing season here in central New York is much favorable. So land prices were cheaper, taxes are cheaper. As far as New York, everybody can get mad about New York. We all hear the negativity about New York. But at the end of the day, I got to say, and I'm proud to say it, New York is actually farm friendly. It's kind of going the other way, but Farm Bureau keeps pushing back. But I got to say, New York is farm friendly. That's why you have so many people from New England that move to New York to farm it, because it is farm friendly.
All right.
Thank you for that question.
It's shocking to hear somebody say something good about New York.
It's farm friendly.
Farm friendly.
I'm talking agriculture here.
All right. Okay, Ben, thank you.
No, thank you.
As always, we really, really appreciate it. Steve Ponte Mazda New Year, new Mazda sales event is back. I got to say, I love my CX-90, and it's a hybrid. So you can drive for a while without using gas, but you have the gas to rely on. I really, really love that. And right now, 0%, 0.9% APR financing on new 2025 Mazda CX-30s, 5s, 50s, 70s, and 90s. See Rick or anybody at the dealership for details. And as Rick says, let's make your deal on a new Mazda from the dealership that's achieved first place nationally in customer satisfaction, Steve Ponte Mazda Commercial Drive in Yorkville. And then New York Sash. Right now at New York Sash, they're celebrating Earth Month with special savings on windows, because it really does help when it comes to saving energy and ultimately, right, saving the planet. It does help when you're energy efficient, and those windows really, really help. You can get $99 off right now per window on energy efficient windows at New York Sash. Davey, you got a line ringing here. Line's like all of a sudden going off the hook. Maybe we're screwing something up. But I'm not screwing it up when I'm talking about New York Sash windows. $99 sale going on right now per window. See their website for details. If you need a price quote, they'll take care of you. If you're in a situation where you need financing, they have an amazing in-store finance program available for you. And we've used New York Sash, whether it be for bathrooms or windows, doors. They have an amazing siding program that one of my relatives just recently purchased into. It's a great product. It's New York Sash. Go to their website, newyorksash.com. All right, I didn't get to everybody I wanted to today, but Davey, I want to bring you in. Prediction for tonight for his near perfect bracket. You're calling for?
Florida.
Florida to win. Florida to win tonight.
Yes.
But you have Florida and Houston in your bracket, right? Tonight, big game.
Every once in a while, something that sounds too good to be true is actually in fact true. How would you like up to $4,000 of free windows? And when I say $4,000 of free windows, I mean $4,000 of free windows. No gimmicks or games. You don't have to buy $4,000 to get $4,000 free. You just get up to $4,000 of free windows through Patriot Home Solutions and NYSERDA. Of course, some restrictions apply, but none of these restrictions are income-based, and you don't have to sit through a long, drawn-out sales presentation. Give Patriot a call at 315-401-0440, and they can quickly tell you over the phone if you qualify or how you can get qualified. That's 315-401-0440. These aren't any windows. They're high-quality, custom-fitted windows designed to save energy and keep the cold air out all winter. Your window solution is Patriot Home Solutions. Online at patriothomesolutions.com.
From the stand